not admitting to anything, saying right after that the accusations about sexual harassment published first in the San Francisco Chronicle are false, but that it's his fight and not his campaign's. Swalwell lost the support of Senator Adam Schiff and the California Teachers Association, who had been big supporters. A pickup truck went off the road and flipped several times Sunday, killing the man who was driving it. The California Highway Patrol says that truck ended up in a field. That wreck happened on Highway 33 in McKittrick. That was just south of Addy Avenue. They did not ID the person who was killed, referring to him as a man. Whoever it was who did the shooting Friday night in McFarland, police are looking for them and hoping for tips that might clue them in. They say nobody was hurt, but people could have been hurt when bullets went flying just before 10 Friday night. That happened on San Pedro Street. Several neighbors heard the gunshots and called 911, and police found the casings when they got there, but say it was a drive-by and the suspects were gone. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
To the rest, well, in a month from now, this Hollywood Big Shot's gonna give you what you want.
Too late. They start shooting in a week.
I'm gonna make him an offer again with you.
The Ralph Bailey Show. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
And I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant good afternoon to you, wherever you may be, however you may be listening, however you may be viewing on YouTube. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on a Monday. Jackie Robinson week on the Ralph Bailey Show. I'll explain why. We got a busy show on this Monday. Eric Swalwell has destroyed Republican hopes for a gubernatorial bid. I'll explain in just a second as we unpack his unraveling. The blockade is hours old, and the Iranians are losing $276 million every single day. This could be the chess move that Trump needs to force them back to the negotiating tables. We'll talk about that. Our good friend Nick Ragone will join us at the bottom of the hour. Rory McIlroy is only the fourth man in golf history to go back-to-back at the Masters champion, joining Nick Faldo, Jack Nicklaus, and Tiger Woods. He tried to give it away. We'll talk with Nick Ragone about the Masters and maybe a little bit about the RBC heritage. The tour is on its way to my hometown, or at least the region where my family's from, Hilton Head, South Carolina, for the RBC heritage. We'll talk about that with Mr. Ragone. Kathy Abernathy will be here at 4 o'clock. And there's more on the Bahamian situation between Brian Hooker and his missing wife, Lynette. Hooker is still he's still in custody, but he has not yet been charged. Bahamian police have until, I believe, 4 o'clock our time, so about an hour, or they're going to let him go if they do not officially charge him. And I'm telling you, he could screw around and get away with this. This is the guy who has had domestic violence issues within his 25-year marriage. He's the guy who claims that 7:30 at night, which is particularly late in the evening to be going out on a boat, particularly on a windy and choppy night. They were going out on their dinghy to go to their yacht. She fell off the boat, off the dinghy. She had the keys to the dinghy, which the daughter says she never drove. That shut down the dinghy, and he paddled his way back to shore as opposed to paddling his way back out into the ocean to look for his wife, but nevertheless. And then he gave a very complacent, very lackadaisical account to his daughter, his stepdaughter. he did not, and maybe you can't gauge somebody's innocence or guilt on how they react. Everybody reacts differently in times of trouble, but it would seem to me that if you were in a situation where your wife fell off a dinghy and she's been missing for days, that you'd be completely panicked, distraught, out of your mind. This guy was ordering Dom Perignon, it sounded like. I don't know. We'll get into that just a little bit. And I got some other miscellaneous news and notes we'll get to. The Dodgers won 2 out of 3 with the Rangers. And now the New York Mets roll into town to end up the road trip before they head to Colorado. And Shohei Ohtani is heating up. He had a couple home runs over the weekend. In fact, he started 2 of the 3 games, opening the ball game up with the home run. And he's hitting like 290 now. But Roki Sasaki does not seem ready. You know what I'm saying? Does not seem ready. He pitched okay. He's always behind the count, I noticed. And he's always just kind of chasing, runners on first and second, 1 out, and he gets a ground ball to get out of it. But, just, I don't know. We'll talk about that a little bit. And the Lakers know who they're playing in the playoffs. Starts this Saturday. Why would I bring up the Lakers and playing Houston this weekend? Because Luka is returning from Spain on Friday night, and they believe that he may be ready to go. He had a second degree hamstring?
Second degree, yeah.
Problem, which is pretty damn severe, and they thought he was going to be out for weeks. They thought he was going to miss the playoffs, but
he's going to play.
Yeah, he's definitely going to play.
I don't think he'd be coming back from Spain if he wasn't going to play.
No. Yeah, he's going to play. So we're excited about that. At least I think we can get by Houston. We'll see. But we'll talk about that. But in the meantime, and I got some good news. Went and saw my urologist today. And the first thing he told me is he thought that the MRI should have never been conducted. He said, your PSA just isn't that high. He said, yes, there's something there, but it is, he believes, a 1 in 10 chance that it is cancer. But you know what? Even though it cost me $1,200, I'm not even mad at Dr. Cothery for ordering the MRI. I'm really not. I'd rather my physician to over-examine me than under-examine me. You know what I'm saying? But he's saying that we're going to wait 6 months. He said 6 months. And then why I like this guy, my urologist, is he could tell I was freaked out. My BP was even a little high. It was like 138/85, which is just a skosh high from where it was a week ago when it was 120/80. Literally, it was like 122/80. But I told him I'm a little freaked out. He goes, you want to do 4 months instead of 6? I go, yeah. That'd be better. So I'm going to check back with him in 4 months. We'll check my PSA. And if in fact there's a problem and the PSA goes up, we'll do a biopsy, he said. And, as I talked about on Friday, I talked to a friend of mine and who has gone through this, who shall remain nameless. And I think I didn't question him enough because he must have had his entire prostate removed, because he was talking about catheter and impotence and infertility. Not that matters at my age. I'm not trying to have anybody's babies, but he was like, he was telling me just nightmare stories. Like if you have your whole prostate taken out, that you ejaculate, but there's nothing there. And the catheter and no anesthesia. It just had me completely, totally freaked out. And my guy said, Dr. Youngston said that it's a biopsy. It's a simple operation. It is under anesthesia. He said there may be some bleeding for a couple of days, but other than that, I missed maybe a day or two of work, and it's not even a big issue. So I am absolutely 100,000% more relieved than I was over the weekend. I was really kind of concerned. And the only reason I bring this up is not to just talk about myself, but to just enlighten you guys on just how simple it is to find these things out. I found this out just through a simple blood test. That's all. Simple blood test. And the way we're going to monitor this, a simple blood test. I'm going back in 4 months. In about 3 months, I'll go take another blood test. We'll see where my PSA is. We'll take it from there. Had I not done this, I'd be literally, figuratively, a ticking time bomb. It just doesn't make sense not to go see a physician. It really, really doesn't. Just 2-3 times a year. I would suggest 4 every quarter. But you have to know your numbers. You have to. If not, if you're over 50 and you don't know where your numbers are, you're just blindly bumping through life irresponsibly, particularly if you have a family. It just doesn't make sense. It's so simple. It's a needle prick that takes 10 minutes and they can tell the wonders of your body. It just doesn't make sense to ignore it, fellas and ladies. It just doesn't make sense. 842-5376, 842-KER. I know you got.
Howard Marcus.
Howard, what's really going on?
On the way home from my biopsy.
And how'd it go?
Well, they did it. I mean, they give you like a Michael Jackson Twilight, so you're out. I mean, they give that to me, and I'm just out. It's not a fully, you're not under with the oxygen down your throat. They basically give you an injection of, like a fentanyl mix or something.
Yeah.
And honestly, they can do whatever they want when I'm unconscious. That's the advantage of it.
Exactly.
Notice anything.
Exactly.
Side effects afterward. There's usual. Any kind of operation, you'll have some stuff after,
right?
But it's actually not nearly as unpleasant as you would think it would be.
Yeah, good to hear.
Yeah, but with mine, I'll get the results in a couple of days. We'll see what it is. But
yeah.
The difference is, you're right. I had 3 blood tests over a period of 6 months, and my PSA just kept going up and up and up. But you're right. It's know your numbers. Don't ignore it. It's very treatable. All this stuff's treatable if you catch it early. That's why you get colonoscopies. When your doctor tells you to, don't put it off. And, guys are kind of stupid because we'll be macho and not do these tests. Like there's some kind of thing where you're less than a man if you let somebody do this stuff to you. It's like, no, do it. Otherwise, you pay the price.
It's what killed Vince Lombardi. He literally said, I'm not having some doctor put his finger up my butt. And he died like a year and a half later.
I had a friend die of colon cancer, and it was horrendous. It was the worst type of cancer. Your dignity, and I won't go into it. But no, it's, I'm glad to say that your doctor is just going to monitor and keep going on it, because it sounds like you only had the 1 or 2 tests so far.
Right.
And hopefully, you'll know it. And hopefully, I hope they're negative, and hopefully mine's negative.
Yeah. Well, that's good to hear.
Deal with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's part of being an adult. You go through these tests. A little kid can put off this stuff and scream and cry. If you're a guy or a man, man up and do the tests.
Exactly.
You're not doing yourself any benefit. I mean, you don't get any bonus points for ignoring medical advice.
Yeah. And if you don't care about yourself, at least think about your family.
Yeah, friends and family. Especially if you have, wife or kids or anything, or just family.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You don't need to put them through this.
Absolutely. It's very, very simple. Well, I'm glad to hear that, Howard. Keep us updated.
Maybe I'll have results by the Wednesday. Are you going to be out of town Wednesday?
I am out of town. It's Kathy Wednesday.
Okay, well, if I'm on or not, you just let me know.
All right, very good. All right, I'll ask you.
Have a good time in LA.
All right, thanks, Pop. All right, I'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you later.
All right, bye. Howard Marcus, it's good to hear. That's good to hear. It's a good day. It's a good day. Let's go ahead and take our first break. When we come back, we'll get into the Eric Swalwell situation and why I say it's destroying our hopes for a Republican governor. Then Mr. Ragone will join us live from Philadelphia, PA, Commonwealth of, with his thoughts on Rory McIlroy's stumbling back-to-back victory. I texted Nick and I said, I got Scheffler. And had he made that putt on 17, man, and I'm telling you, Rory is the luckiest son of a gun in the world. He is he's the worst, greatest player ever. Like his stats, you can't deny the guy. There are 6 men in the history of golf that have won all 4 major championships in their career, and he's one of them. And the other 5 are some of the greatest players literally ever. Ben Hogan, Tiger Woods, Jack Nicklaus, Gary Player, and Ben Hogan. It doesn't get much better than that. But I just don't see him in that conversation, but he's there. He's one of 3, 4 men that have won the Masters back-to-back. Tiger, Jack, Faldo, and Rory. I just don't see him in that conversation, but he's there. I consider him, he's like the Eli Manning of golf. Eli Manning has done something not many guys have done, won 2 Super Bowls. But does anybody talk about him as the greatest ever in that conversation even? No, but he's been there. And he beat Tom Brady twice. He's got to be in that conversation, but he's not. And he shouldn't be, but he should be. If that makes any sense at all. Quick timeout. We're coming right back. It's TRBS on a Monday. Jackie Robinson week. I've got some great audio I'm going to play tomorrow that ruined the career of Al Campanis on Jackie Robinson Day. In the meantime, you're listening to the Ralph Bailey Show on a Monday right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, and we're streaming live at kernradio.com.
Kern Radio, News Talk.
Big Mike first. And then did you still have that claw care spot?
Yes.
Okay, we got to do that before you get out of here today.
All right.
Aid moves into day 2. What is the overall impact? How is the negotiated ceasefire process playing out in the Middle East? We will break all that down for you. Plus, Senator Rand Paul will join us. Kentucky has an open Senate seat coming up for grabs. What does he expect in his state? All that more. You won't want to miss it. Tuesday edition. Clay and Buck.
Live at 9 a.m. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230. KERN.
You know, it really doesn't make sense if you've got an event coming up to try to do it on your own. You should hire a caterer. You really should. And you know the caterer I'm going to suggest, Mike Arier and Big Mike's Raging Barbecue. Doesn't matter what your event is. I know graduation is fast approaching. There's Cinco de Mayo, luncheons, weddings, whatever the event is. Mike is prepared. For over 20 years now, he's been one of the best caterers in this town. He does the cooking. He is especially particular about quality of meat. And his mashed potatoes, just on a side note, are my absolute favorite. He does the cooking. He does the cleaning with his crew, the serving. You do nothing but call him. Call him today at 393-5507. That's 393-5507. And again, it doesn't matter what your event is. It's a golf tournament, a luncheon, no matter. Call Michael, 393-5507. Mike Arier and Big Mike's Raging Barbecue. And yes, after 10 years, they're still raging hot.
Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day. No one can beat us, no one can touch us. You won't find better prices. Shop and compare, we don't care. Take a look our way and come into Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day.
Scare the shit out of me.
Carpet Plus is celebrating 30 years in business by offering you no-interest financing for 12 months. Head over to carpetoutletplus.com to
and it costs me $1,200
bucks. New waterproof flooring and
you should have never had the MRI.
all from one trusted place. Over 70,000 customers can't be wrong.
Now I can.
It's probably been time to change
Now I can have.
so call
I can. I'm maxed out.
Carpet
I
Outlet
can do
Plus,
anything.
3.5 blocks west of
I'll have
99
this
on
done.
Rosedale Highway.
And if I do have the biopsy, they'll pay for it, but I have to have it this year. So, but yeah, it cost me
Paul
$1,200
Sheldon's
bucks.
client,
MRI.
Dr.
He said it
Roland
should have never been done.
Rodriguez.
Hello, this is Bakersfield.
He said you could do
General Surgeon,
1,000
Dr.
guys
Rodriguez,
with
client
a
and
4.3
friend, Paul
PSA
Sheldon. It is
on
my
an
great
MRI,
pleasure and privilege
and
to
he said
relate
900
all
of them
my
would have
absolute
something
exemplary
here,
experience with
and
Paul Sheldon.
maybe
I have also
10 of them would
referred a
have
number
cancer.
of my colleagues to Paul Sheldon's
I was like,
office,
fucking
only to
copy.
receive
No, I was
the
like,
most
no,
stellar feedback from
I'd
my
rather
doctor
be-
friends regarding the
yeah,
office's
I'd rather
expert
over-
navigation to the complex maze that is
say,
Medicare.
fuck it, yeah.
Even though Paul
Yeah.
Sheldon himself
Yeah,
is now
exactly.
facing some temporary health challenges.
Exactly.
Long-standing and most
And I'm
experienced
still not out of the
and
woods.
technically
Still
trained team
could
of
be
ladies,
something
Christine,
because there's something
Kelly,
there.
and Lynn
But
continue to master
he thinks there's a
provide
1 in 10
clients
chance
in
it's
the
cancer.
complicated world of Medicare.
So
You most definitely could not possibly
it
do
is good
any
news.
better than to reach
Yeah.
out to Paul Sheldon several months before turning 65. Thank you.
When Medicare matters, our team has the answers. Team Paul Sheldon.
398-2298.
Hey, it's JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, starting at 1 p.m. Now back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230. KERN.
I just keep getting good news.
What now?
Guess who's pitching Wednesday?
Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. On Jackie Day, too?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Isn't
going
that
to be
cool?
primetime game.
Isn't that cool?
That's on
It's on
television.
ESPN.
Was it on ESPN?
Uh-huh. I already looked. It's on ESPN. Playing the Mets. A 7:05, 7:10 start, something like that. So we'll leave here at about 8:30 in the morning. No, we can't leave at 8:30. I got to do my taxes at 10 o'clock with John Marquez of Marquez and Marquez, right on the corner of 18th and Oak. Best accountant in town. If you go in there, tell him that Ralph told you all about him.
Is he picking you up from the accountant?
No, we'll probably leave around noon, I'm guessing. He said he'd call me tomorrow, but I'm guessing we leave about noon. Because the gates don't open for a 7 o'clock game till 4.
Yeah.
So we'll get down there around 2:33, 2:33 o'clock. And then we hang out by the gate with souvenir vendors. I might buy a lid. I always get the visor. I'm not big on the lid. I like the visor. In the meantime, Eric Swalwell is facing, excuse me, facing expulsion from the United States Congress. As I'm sure you all know by now, he's been charged with sexual misconduct by 4 different women. One woman accuses him of rape. I don't buy the rape charge. I don't think this guy's a rapist. And the reason I say that, and we're about to play some audio, but I may not have some time. I might have to get to it later in the 5. But the reason I don't buy the rape charge is because the girl said that he had sexually molested her twice, and she had left his employ, and that she reached out to him in 2024 to meet for a cocktail. Now, again, I don't know anything about this, sexual misconduct and how women react and why they stay or why they don't say anything, but that just seems very odd to me. You know what I'm saying? But again, we've witnessed, look at Dolores Huerta. She's being considered a star. She's being heralded as a hero, and she married the brother of her rapist. It doesn't get more bizarre than that. And had 2 children with her rapist. And, so my point being, you don't know how apparently they're going to react, I suppose. But for a woman to be raped and then to reach out to the man and meet him for cocktails seems really bizarre to me. Here is one of the staffers who spoke with CNN.
I kept figuring out ways to blame myself. I shouldn't have reached out to him at all. I should have left. I should have done this. Well, Eric shouldn't have raped me.
True, but why did you reach out to him? And the reason that I say that this destroys our hopes for 2 people at the top of the leaderboard in terms of Republicans is where do you think his 10-12% is going to go? It's going to go to between Katie Porter and Tom Steyer. I think with him in the race, this race, this primary is going to be won with like 25% of the vote, maybe 30. So you've got 8 Democrats that remained in despite advice from the state chair, and Swalwell is going to eat up at least 10%. Well, now that 5 of that goes to Katie. She jumps from 10 to 15. And maybe 5 of that goes to Swalwell. He jumps into the 15s. And now they're in the same zip code with Bianco and Hilton when they haven't been at any point during this election. But those Democratic votes have to go somewhere. This is the worst possible thing that could have happened in this gubernatorial race. I wanted Swalwell to stay in this thing. I didn't think he was going to win. I think he was damaged goods. Everybody, this is the worst kept secret in America, certainly in Washington. This guy, it goes back to his Chinese lover, the Fang Fang woman. And why do you think that the Chinese targeted him? Because he was susceptible. Because, again, the worst secret in D.C. was this guy was a philanderer. There's audio I'm sure you probably have seen if you're engaged over the weekend of Kevin McCarthy outing him and Gates. This was a while back. And now they've opened the floodgates to expelling legislators. There are now 3 others that are being considered. Tony Gonzalez. Oh, not that Tony Gonzalez. The congressman from Texas who had an affair with his staffer. Now, there's a big difference between Tony Gonzalez and Eric Swalwell. Gonzalez wasn't accused of a crime. Swalwell is accused of a crime. Swalwell is accused of rape, of sexual misconduct. Not all, but Gonzalez had an affair with his staffer. Now, if you expelled every member of Congress that had an affair with a staffer, you couldn't fill the building. But the thing that brought attention to Gonzalez's situation is that the staffer ended up taking her own life. In fact, she engulfed herself in flames. So that's what made that a story. So I don't think you can compare the two. I'm not saying that Gonzalez shouldn't be expelled. I'm just saying you can't compare that to Swalwell. And that other black woman, I don't have her name right in front of me, who's accused of defrauding the government out of $5 million. They're talking about bouncing her and Corey Mills, who had similar sexual allegation charges, never proved, but allegations. And do you know that if they do this, if they kick out 4 different members of Congress, there have only been 6 kicked out in the history of Congress. And 3 of them were Confederate slave owners. 2 others were felons. And you guys know who the 6th was. Good old George Santos. Good old George. I was once an astronaut. I studied at Oxford. I played for the Rams. I'm a ping pong champion. Good old George. Quick time out. We're off to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. We'll talk about the Masters with our good friend Nick Ragone.
Kern Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN.
News. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Democratic Congressman Eric Swalwell of California has announced he will resign from Congress following multiple sexual assault allegations that have prompted loud bipartisan calls for him to step down. The decision Monday caps a swift political fall for the 7-term lawmaker who had been seen as a frontrunner in California's gubernatorial race before dropping out as the allegations surfaced, claims he has continued to deny. President Trump says the American military has begun a blockade of Iranian ports. Trump's statement on Monday was part of his effort to force Tehran to open the Strait of Hormuz and accept a deal to end the war that's raged for more than 6 weeks. On Wall Street, the Dow up by 301 points, the Nasdaq rose 280, the S&P advanced 69. More details at srnnews.com.
Kern Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN. Headlines from the KERN Newsroom.
I'm Chris Davis. A drive-by shooting in McFarland. That happened Friday night just before 10, and police there are still looking for the shooter or shooters. When they got to San Pedro Street after several 911 calls, they found evidence of a shooting, but the perps were long gone. No one was reported hurt in the incident. Congressman Eric Swalwell is no longer running for governor of California, announcing on social media Sunday evening that he is suspending his campaign for now. He has lost the support of both Senator Adam Schiff and California Teachers Association after reports of sexual misconduct, which Swalwell denies but says it's his job to fight that and not his campaign's. Gas on average in California today is $5.83 for a gallon of regular, says Gas Buddy. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN Newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN.
If you don't care about saving 50% off your wireless bill for the same 5G coverage the big guys are charging a fortune for, maybe you care about keeping jobs in America. Pure Talk does. They've pledged to run their entire operation from this country, including all their customer service. Or maybe you care about our nation's veterans. Pure Talk does. They've donated hundreds of thousands of dollars to America's Warrior Partnership, a fantastic organization working hard to prevent veteran suicide. Or maybe you care about closing America's skills gap. Pure Talk does. They're a proud supporter of MicroWorks. They're helping my foundation train the next generation of skilled workers. Don't get me wrong. Saving money's great, and you'll save plenty with Pure Talk. But if you want to be in business with people who share your values, dial pound 250, say micro, and switch to an American wireless company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
First Look with Scott Cox, mornings 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Tuesday edition of the First Look program, we got water issues, and who better to discuss them with than the best in the business, Lois Henry, sjvwater.org. We'll also have news and traffic and weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at News Talk 96.1 and also AM 1230 and streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230. KERN. Clay Travis and Buck Sexton live at 9 a.m. Now back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
Kathy Abernathy joins us at the top of the hour, and you will hear from the president and more on Eric Swalwell. We've got some more audio from one of his staffers. But in the meantime, we're off to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Talk with our good friend Nick Ragone. Rory McIlroy tried his hardest to give it away. He blew a 6-shot lead, played horribly on the front, and then started playing really good golf on the back, and then picked up his driver on the 72nd hole for reasons I will never, ever understand. What say you, Nick Ragone?
Rory hit a lot of sloppy shots on the back nine. So if you think about it, hits a great drive on 13, hits a really bad short iron, and still gets up and down.
That almost went in the water.
Yeah, almost went in the water. Then 15, he almost chunked a wedge. I mean, it's a miracle that ball on 15 didn't go in the water. 16, he airmails the green, tricky up and down, gets it up and down. 17, he has a short iron, misses, blows it right in the green.
Yep.
And then 18 hit what arguably was the worst drive in the history of the Masters at 18, like 80 yards right.
It was so bad, he got lucky. It was so
he
bad.
Got lucky. It was so far right, he had a shot.
Yep.
I mean, he was leaking oil big time. And Scotty misses that putt on 17, the Nicklaus putt, by the way, by a fraction of an inch. That goes in. They're in a playoff. Scotty win. I mean, it was not good golf. I didn't even think it was exciting. It was a rather bizarre Sunday.
I agree. I thought it was disappointing. I thought he won the tournament on 12 with that shot over the water where he didn't go for the fat part of the green.
Did.
I thought that's what sealed it for him. But
I think that was that was his marquee shot. But if you look at first of all, CBS's coverage was horrible. Like barely. I mean, Sam Burns, triples number 2 for get out of lead. You don't show it. Houghton Lee makes a 10 on 13, puts it in the water. They don't show it.
Yeah.
They missed a couple of Scheffler's birdie putts, and then at 18 they couldn't find the ball.
Yeah,
that
was weird.
Was abysmal.
Yeah, it really was. That's I didn't even think about that. You're right. And I was like,
18 they lost both shots. They lost Rory's second shot, and then in theory, if Rory makes double there and Cam makes birdie, he's in a playoff too. So his second shot mattered. They had no idea where it was.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was absolutely crazy. Is he? I mean, statistically, he is one of the greatest players of all time, but I just don't see him in that conversation.
I mean, he is statistically top 15. I don't know about top 10. I mean, Watson still has more majors. I think he's tied with Trevino, tied with Faldo. I mean, not just to go by majors, but, look, he's a top 12 to top 15 player. If he wins a couple more majors, he climbs that ladder. I mean, he's certainly got the raw talent, and when he's on, he's pretty amazing, but I've never seen a more erratic, even including Phil, by the way, I've never seen a more erratic player.
Yeah, me either. I mean, if that ball is in a bush, he possibly loses the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, he makes triple there.
Yeah.
It was a miracle. It was a miracle on 15. If you watch that shot again, that wedge, 99 out of 100 times, rolls back in the water. And somehow it stayed up.
Yeah.
And that was an easy little third, not easy, but it's, his third shot. Last year, if you remember, on 13, he had his third shot. He rinsed it. He hit some head-scratching shots. And, it ultimately was a bunched-up leaderboard. It's supposed to be interesting. But I didn't find, there were no eagle putts. I mean, Augusta National set up the course funny. There was no drama on the back nine, really. I mean, it was just a very odd. I didn't, people are like, oh, it's such a great master. Like, no, it really wasn't.
I didn't think so. You couldn't hold the green on 15. So you're right. There were no dramatic eagle putts there. And it just, you're right. It was just sloppy golf. And there are 6 guys that are going over their round today saying to themselves, I should have won that damn golf tournament.
Yeah. Starting with Scotty, who I'm sure looked at all those. I mean, Scotty played the last 40 holes without a bogey, which is a record.
The first time.
The guy played the best golf by far.
Yeah, first time in the history of the tournament that somebody's gone bogeyless over the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing how good he played. And he just, a couple putts hung on the edge. And it was, I felt bad for Justin Rose. It looked like he had command of it for a while. But it was truly the strangest tournament I've ever seen.
Yeah, because you're right. At one point, it looked like Justin Rose was going to walk away with it. He's going to be one of the oldest guys ever to win it. And then he crapped the bed inexplicably. Yeah, that's crazy. Did you hear Scotty complain about playing in the morning on Friday? I was kind of shocked by that.
Yeah, he was whiny the whole weekend. He snapped at Jason Sobel, a reporter, about asking a dumb question. About
I
what
saw
he
that.
shot,
Yeah.
which is uncharacteristic for Scotty. Clearly, he was frustrated, and then he whined a little bit about the setup, which the late early, they put some water in the course and took the sting out of it, and it wasn't as hard for everybody. And you could tell he's frustrated. I mean, he's probably frustrated because he played really good the final 2 days and should have won that, and didn't. Came up a hair short, but he's human. Like you could tell that he was out of sorts.
Yeah.
With the media.
I mean, 12 strokes back and he almost wins the damn thing. I mean, that's incredible. But yeah, he shoots a 74 in the morning, and then Rory shoots a 65 in the afternoon. And I could see his frustration because they're not 9 strokes apart ever. You know what I'm saying? If they ever play heads up in the same conditions on the same course, anywhere at any time, Rory's not beating him by 9 strokes. That's just not happening.
I mean, if Rory doesn't go on that epic run Friday afternoon, he picks up 6 shots on the back 9. It's a totally different ball game. I mean, that's where he won the tournament, opening up that 6-shot lead. But he was, it goes actually, if he goes one more hole, he loses. I mean, he was leaking oil and hanging on by a thread. It was. I think it'll make the U.S. Open interesting because I think Scotty will be fired up.
Going for the career
PGA coming up too.
Going for the career grand.
Neck of the woods.
He's going for the career Grand Slam at the U.S. Open.
The Open he is.
Yeah. On his birthday. Apparently. Yeah.
But their next major is here in Philadelphia. So.
Where is it? What course?
At Aronimink. It's 10 minutes from my house.
Really? Wow. That should be exciting. What do you think of Cam Young, your guy?
I mean, I thought he hung in there. He missed too many short putts. I think his ball strike and his driver was a little too erratic.
No birdies on the back.
Yeah, he kind of went stale. I mean, it could have been anybody's event. I mean, you're right. Like he, Justin Rose, Scotty are looking in the mirror saying, "Oh my God, this should have." Even Russell Hemley. I mean, that guy had so many opportunities.
I thought he was going to come back and get into a playoff, and he had a makeable putt. What, on 17? I think it was.
Yeah, so he had a bunch of shorties that he missed.
Yeah.
It was really not it didn't feel like the Masters with the back 9 roars and the Eagles and the wild swings, and it didn't, it didn't feel like that at all. It felt more like an Open where everybody was hanging on for
trying
your
to
life.
survive. Yeah, I agree. It was not one of our favorites. Anybody else stand out to you in terms of their play? Looked like Lee.
Morikawa.
In pain.
In pain and limping and like altering his swing, and to finish 9 under to T6 when he was limping home and throwing the club head at the ball because he couldn't rotate. And it was pretty amazing.
It really was. Love that kid. And so what? You say the PGA is next?
Yeah, PGA up at Aronimink. I think May 13th. So a couple of 3-4 weeks. It'll be interesting. I think Scotty, will be the favorite. He's on form. He seems like it, and it'll. I'm curious to see if Scotty. I have a feeling he's going to be fired up to. There's a lot of talk about Rory being the best in the game, and Scotty's still #1 player in the world in my book by far. Not
by
even
far.
Close.
Yeah, by far.
Yeah, by far. I'll be curious to see if this really, 4 of the last 5 majors were won by Scotty or Rory. If this really starts a rivalry.
That'd be nice. And your boy Jordan Spieth will be going for the career Grand Slam, won't he?
He will be. I don't think anybody takes it seriously. Although he shot 67 on Sunday at the Masters. He said he was hitting the ball well. Look, hopefully he finds something. It's kind of sad to see him just goofing off of that swing all the time.
Yeah. Any other notes before I let you go?
No. Let's hope that the PGA is more exciting.
Yeah, no kidding. And they're headed to Hilton Head this weekend, headed to Sea Pines Plantation, Harbortown Golf
Your
Links.
neck of the country.
Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. All right, Pop, thanks for all your help. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, man. Be well.
You too. Nick Ragone. Yeah, he's right. It was kind of a lackluster Sunday. Battle of the inepts, as I like to say when my group is playing badly. But you got to give it to the guy. He was hitting it all over the course, but he did what he had to do when he had to do it. And that was at 12 when he took it over the long portion of the golf course where most guys leave it short and put it in the water. and he put it within 6 feet, knocked it in, then went back to 13, hit an incredible drive, like 351 yards, literally, and had a 7-iron home, 2 putted for birdie, went back to back, and gave himself exactly what he had to have, just what Tiger needed in 2019. And that is, there is a gargantuan difference when you're going to the 72nd tee between having a 2-shot lead and a 1-shot lead. Because every pro on the tour literally should be able to make bogey to win a golf tournament. And he hit his last drive so badly that he had a shot, you know, and I've done that where you hit it past the woods and you're literally on the other fairway and you just go up the other fairway and then chip on in 3 and hopefully 2-putt for 5. That's exactly what he did. He put it in the bunker. But I mean, if that ball's in a bush and it's unplayable, he's now hitting 3 out of the woods. So he's in that bunker in 4. And now he's got to get up and down for the win. And that's probably not likely, as he didn't do it on the 72nd hole. He didn't get up and down. He hit 2-putted. But he had a 2-shot lead and could make bogey. Quick timeout. Check the board. See what you all are talking about. Kathy Abernathy joins us at the top of the hour. Talk a little bit about the Iranian situation and the blockade that is in effect as we speak. In the meantime, you're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, streaming live at kernradio.com.
Kern Radio,
Adaptive.
AM 1230, KERN.
Tuesday edition, Clay Travis, Buck Sexton Show. Strait of Hormuz blockade moves into day 2. What is the overall impact? How is the negotiated ceasefire process playing out in the Middle East? We will break all that down for you. Plus, Senator Rand Paul will join us. Kentucky has an open Senate seat coming up for grabs. What does he expect in his state? All that more. You won't want to miss it. Tuesday edition, Clay and Buck.
Live at 9 a.m. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN.
If you're a local business person and you're serious about your IT needs and serious about your IT safety, you need to hook up with the folks that we have here at American General Media for our IT information, and that is the folks at Adaptive Networks. Jennifer and Ryan Van Alstyne have put together a company that has been just shaking and moving here in Kern County when it comes to IT work. People are coming to them for security because one of the big issues that we talk about a lot is the fact that there are scammers out there that will grab all your IT information and hold it hostage. They'll come to you and say, Ralph Bailey, if you don't pay us $30,000, we'll give all your passcodes, all your information to all your rivals in the radio industry. Well, the folks at Adaptive Networks can not only prevent that, but if you come to them with that problem, they can retrieve your information. That's why they're so incredibly important to this radio station and why they should be so important to you as a business person. Call them today at 241-0638. That's 661-241-0638, or hit them online at adaptive-net.com.
Are gas prices the final straw to break the camel's back? Are you drowning in debt so that more gas means you can't pay for other essential stuff? Are you getting collection calls, emails, and texts on credit cards, medical debt, loans, buy now, pay later, and so forth? The attorneys at Clean Slate BK Group have a solution to make the nightmare go away. CSBK can stop the harassment, get rid of the balances, maybe even get your car payment reduced, and get you reset in the right financial direction for a fraction of the time and money of a debt settlement program. A Chapter 7 BK takes about 6 months, and at the end, the financial straws will be off your back. Log on to CSBK.com and read what real people just like you have to say about what CSBK has done for them. This is an attorney advertisement. Your results may vary, and prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome. Clean Slate BK Group PC, located at 7 Penn Plaza, Suite 601, New York, 10001, is responsible for the content of this ad. For more information, visit CSBK.com. That's CSBK.com to end your financial nightmare.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS like Gail?
When I retired, I just let all my taxes pile up. I had gotten many threatening letters. The one that said they were going to try and take my property was probably the scariest. When I found out that I owed close to $300,000, I was in total shock. It was a bad situation. I didn't know what to do.
Then Gail found tax relief advocates.
When TRA told me I was only going to owe $368, I just was in total disbelief.
If you owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS, don't lose hope. Do what Gail did and call TRA for a consultation.
I was so blessed with TRA.
Visit TRA.com or call 800-544-7357. 800-544-7357. That's 800-544-7357.
You're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show. Catch me weekday morning 6 to 9 a.m. on First Look with Scott Cox.
When you wish upon a star, dreams will take you very far, yeah. When you wish upon a dream, nothing says, oh yeah. 842-5376, 842-KERN. So now it's been a matter of hours since the blockade has begun. We have a pair of ships inside the Persian Gulf, inside the Strait of Hormuz, the USS Frank Peterson Jr. and the USS Michael Murphy. And this is when things are going to get a little dicey. Because what happens if a little $20,000 drone hits one of those ships? And so it's nervous time, although this could be an effective method. And perhaps, again, had this thing been thought out, maybe this is one of the things we should have done from the very beginning. Because according to the pundits that I heard, this is costing the Iranians, this blockade, $276 million a day, which you don't have to ask Siri. Excuse me, that amounts to about $13 billion a month. This is how they have. Shut up, Siri. Shut up. This is how they amass this enriched uranium. This is how they fund terrorism all throughout the region. This is how they've been able to fund the IRGC. They make billions and billions of dollars on their oil. And I don't care what the situation is. I'm supporting the president in dealing with the Strait of Hormuz because they cannot control that. They're not going to put up a toll. That's not happening. And now Western Europe has no choice in the matter. They can't sit around and just watch us deal with this because they've got more skin in the game really than we do. As the president has alluded to, in some respects, we don't need that oil. The world does, as I've been screaming throughout this whole thing that he seems to not understand or not give a damn about, is that no matter how much oil we produce, it's not going to impact global prices. Here is the president from, I believe this is from this morning. You can unlock experiences like no one. Here he comes.
We've been called by the other side. They'd like to make a deal very badly, very badly.
What was the sticking point over? You said it was over nuclear.
It was over nuclear, very similar. Yeah, very good. I guess you're listening. It's over the fact that they will never have a nuclear weapon. Iran, you marking it down? Iran will not have a nuclear weapon. And we agreed to a lot of things, but they didn't agree to that. And I think they will agree to it. I'm almost sure of it. In fact, I am sure of it. If they don't agree, there's no deal. There'll never be a deal. Iran will not have a nuclear weapon, and we're going to get the dust back. We'll get it back. Either we'll get it back from them or we'll take it.
You see what I'm saying about playing it straight? He and Hegseth need to stop saying this, that we're going to take it. Does anybody believe that? Does anybody want that? Want boots on the ground searching around outside of Tehran for enriched uranium that's been buried under the ground? I don't know what the answer is to completely prevent them from having a nuclear weapon. I think the ultimate answer is always going to be that we're going to have to mow the lawn. I don't care how we devastate these people. Do you understand what $13 billion a month can do? they're going to, as long as they can make $13 billion a month, 275 million, is it billion? $1 million a day, they are going to try to be as powerful as they possibly can. I don't care what song and dance they give us now, we're going to have to mow the lawn. And even if we went in and got all their enriched uranium, you really think that's going to stop them? You really think that's going to change their modus operandi of being the most powerful nation in the region and being able to someday strike the United States with a missile that's got a nuclear warhead on it? You really think they're just going to say, all right, we just give up? That's never going to happen. But at least we can do something now. As I have stated from the very beginning, despite my criticisms, I'm in favor of what the president's doing. I just don't like how he's doing it. And I think they came up with this blockade idea within the last 72 hours. I don't think it was on the planning situation, because at one point, as I pointed out, he told the Western Europe to go get their own oil. He said, we don't need the Strait of Hormuz. He's going to walk away from it. But now, after the talks with J.D. Vance over the weekend in Islamabad failed miserably, now we come up with this Strait of Hormuz situation. I'm in favor of it, but it gets dicey. The ceasefire is holding, but I don't think the ceasefire benefits us. I really don't. I think they're rearming. I think they're repurchasing and rebuilding drones. Yes, we've devastated their army. We've devastated their Navy. We've devastated their air power. We don't control it, though. Don't say that. Don't believe that. They just shot down an F-15. We had somebody text in and go, well, you know, Ralph, that's not one of our speedier jets. Have you gone crazy? An F-15? So we have not tell the colonel that got shot down that we completely control their airspace. They still have missiles. They still have drones. They still can wage a deadly war. Time is still on their side. And that's why they agreed to this ceasefire. Time's on their side. The longer this thing goes on, the closer it gets to the midterms, the closer it gets to 2028. Because remember, 2028 begins in 2027. The campaign begins in about a year, maybe 16, 18 months. People start announcing, or maybe not announcing, but all of a sudden you're going to see Josh Shapiro in New Hampshire. What are you doing in New Hampshire? You're going to see J.B. Pritzker in South Carolina. What are you doing in Beaufort? You know what I'm saying? And the longer this thing goes on, and that's what the Democrats want. Oh, the Democrats would love for this thing to just linger on and on and on. But the president's backed himself in a corner. He said he's got a 2-week time limit, that we're going to be out of here soon. Okay, well, the market's reacting to that. Gas prices jumped again. The average now is $4.13 from $2.98 when it first started. And so you know what that means for us. We're looking at $6, maybe $7 pretty doggone soon. And as I talked about, inevitably it was going to hit the skies, but they've been smart trying to circumvent it and hide their increases. They're not messing with airfare, but they're behind the scenes upping what it costs to carry on a bag, what it costs to check in a bag. That's all gone up like $10, $15. So they're passing along. They're just trying to do it as subtly as they can so as not to get you to cancel your Orlando plans to go to Disney World or to go see grandma this summer or to go to your daughter's graduation in Pennsylvania, et cetera, et cetera. But they're going to get you. They're still passing on the fuel increase on you. They're just doing it in a much more subtle way. I don't know. I'm just, again, at this point, just trying to sit back and wait till this thing is over. I think we're all praying that it ends soon and that there's no more American blood spilled. But now with 2 destroyers inside the Persian Gulf, and, you know, what happens if we, you know, confront a Chinese tanker? or a Russian tanker? Or what if somebody tries to run the blockade? What if is somebody headed to an Iranian port and they just run the blockade? This could get dicey quickly. But I think it's a good move. I'm not criticizing the move. I think it's the best thing they can do to try to get the Iranians back to the table. But again, I repeat, I don't think this ceasefire helps us one bit. I think this played right into the hands of the Iranians. I think they are rebuilding drones as we speak, and they are getting prepared for the ceasefire to end, and they're going to wait us out. They're going to wait us out because they know that the longer this thing goes, the more pressure there'll be on Donald Trump, whose approval ratings are in the toilet. They're in the low 30s. And the only good thing is that the Democratic Party is hated even more than Trump. And Swalwell has now added to that just the absolute contempt of these people. And they're just so damn corrupt. And they really, of the 435 members of the United States House of Representatives, I truly believe there are about 35, 40, maybe 50 of them that truly are there for the reason that they're supposed to be there. You know what I'm saying? I think most of them go so they can get rich. They can do favors for their friends back home. They have no sense of true dedication to this country. Quick time out. Kathy Abernathy joins us next.
From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update.
Eric Swalwell says so long in the race for governor of California. I'm Chris Davis. He says he's suspending his campaign for now, making that announcement under pressure Sunday night. The pressure is coming from a lack of support, with both Senator Adam Schiff and the California Teachers Association calling the sexual misconduct accusations against the congressman troubling. Swalwell still denies those accusations, saying in his statement that they are false, but still apologizing for any past misjudgment. But he says fighting those accusations is his job and not his campaign's job. A drive-by shooting in McFarland. Police there are looking for whomever it was who did all the shooting Friday night on San Pedro Street. They say several 911 calls came in just before 10 from people hearing gunfire. And when they got there, they found evidence of a shooting, but no shooters. They say no one was hurt and no one has been arrested. A man was killed in a wreck Sunday near McKittrick, says the Highway Patrol. Officers say the Toyota Tacoma ran off the side of Highway 33 and flipped several times, coming to rest in a field near Addy Avenue. The man who was driving the truck died at the scene, and they are still looking into why that happened. The man's name has not yet been made public. If you want to help the family of Tulare County Deputy Randy Hoppert, the best way to do that is through the Tulare County Deputy Sheriff's Association, says Sheriff Mike Boudreau. He says the scammers are already at it with fake GoFundMe accounts and people reporting that they are seeing that on social media. He says the family has not authorized any GoFundMes, and if you see one, it is a phony. The average price for gas in California today is $5.83 for a gallon of regular, says Gas Buddy. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN Newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
First Look with Scott Cox, morning 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Tuesday edition of the First Look program, all we got water issues, and who better to discuss them with than the best in the business, Lois Henry, sjvwater.org. We'll also have news and traffic and weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. here at News Talk 96.1 and also AM 1230 and streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
As veterans, we're no strangers to helping others.
It's what we were taught, trained, and told to do.
It could be for anything. Helping a friend move.
Listening to a fellow veteran for hours, at any hour of the day.
Or just simply making time for people. A neighbor, a loved one, or even a stranger.
We're often the first to help others. There's no question about it.
But we do have one question for the veterans listening.
When was the last time you reached out for help?
Perhaps it's time to do for yourself what you would do for others.
If you or someone you know needs resources, whether it's for stress, finances, employment, or mental health, Don't wait.
No, they said Luke is flying back from.
Find more information at va.gov/reach. That's va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
Most people out here think that taking care of one another is important. And most people would step up for a neighbor going through a tough time. Most people around here help out friends and family when they need it. But the funny thing is, most of us won't look for help when we need it.
Yeah, true that.
If you're struggling with mental
True
health,
that.
you should know that there are resources out there that can help. And it's okay to talk about it if you need to. One place to get started with information is loveyourmindtoday.org. Loveyourmindtoday.org offers a range of guides, instructions, and insights for dealing with difficult situations or getting through a tough time. If you're struggling with mental health, get the help you need, because most people out here
Hear Cliff or a caller.
visit loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
What, that's
Tuesday edition,
that?
Clay
No,
Travis, Buck
everyone.
Sexton Show, straight up for Moose Blockade, moves into day 2. What is the overall impact? How is the negotiated ceasefire process playing out in the Middle East? We will break all that down for you. Plus, Senator Rand Paul will join us. Kentucky has an open Senate seat coming up for grabs. What does he expect in his state? All that more. You won't want to miss it. Tuesday edition, Clay and Buck.
And I bet you
9 a.m. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
I do have eggs in my refrigerator as we speak. And I have my bananas.
Hollywood Big Shot's gonna give you what you want. Too late. They start shooting in a week. I'm gonna make him an offer again.
Yeah.
The Ralph Bailey Show. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
And I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Hour 2 of the broadcast on this Monday, 13th day of April. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, where we're streaming live at KERNradio.com. Bottom of the hour, get you caught up on the situation in the Bahamas with Brian Hooker, the man who alleges that his wife fell off of their dinghy on a windy, choppy night on the Atlantic Ocean. She's been missing now for days. It has turned into a recovery effort and no longer a rescue effort. You will hear from the man who could be being released right now. They had until 4 o'clock Pacific time. They arrested him, had not charged him, and they have until 7 o'clock East Coast time, 4 o'clock our time, to either charge him or release him. So we'll get you caught up on that. We'll restate our top story of the day, get you some more information on Eric Swalwell, and I've got some other miscellaneous news and notes to talk a little Dodger baseball. They come back from a 5-1 road trip and take 2 out of 3 from the Texas Rangers. And now the New York Metropolitans, the New York Mets, roll into town, and it's Jackie Robinson week. And I got some great audio, as I talked about at the top of the show, of Al Campanis, who made one of the greatest shocking blunders in the history of television, where he basically said he was there because he was very good friends with Jackie Robinson. And Al Campanis, this is the irony, he's one of the reasons that the Dodgers reached out to Mexico and Central America, and he's one that insisted that the coaches and the scouts speak Spanish to relate to these kids. And he was good friends with Roy Campanella and many of the black players that the Dodgers first assigned. That's why they had him there. He was the general manager. And that's why Ted Koppel had him on the show. And Koppel asked him, you know, one of the things that Jack always said was, yeah, I'm proud that we're playing, but there still are no general managers, still no managers, there are no owners, blah, blah, blah. And Campanis made the famous comment, well, I just don't think they have, being black folks, the capabilities or the smarts to do this. And Koppel, I just saw, I've got it. Again, we're going to play it tomorrow, where Koppel tries to get him off. He goes, come on, man. That sounds like what they were talking about when Jackie first got into the thing, got into baseball. And he says, well, if you notice, there are no black quarterbacks and they don't swim. And it's remarkable audio. We'll play it for you tomorrow. But it is a Monday. Looking for adventure. Professor Kathy Abernathy. All right, Professor.
I'm real good, Ralph. Kind of an odd couple days here, but
Why is that?
Well, all this stuff going on.
Yes.
Crazy stuff.
It's a very
stuff.
depressing weekend for the Republican Party. The worst thing that could have happened in the gubernatorial race happened.
Oh, well, I don't know. I do know that he did have a boatload of money, Eric Swalwell, but I'm not sure he would have made the top two. I still wonder why people aren't putting more focus on the two Hispanics in there.
But don't you know why I say it's a horrible thing for the party?
That it means that
that his vote, it's not as watered down as it once was. Mm-hmm. It's now going to concentrate on, because those voters got to go somewhere, and they're going to go, I think, to your girl, Katie Porter, and the richest guy in the field, Tom Steyer.
Well,
which now bumps them up to like 15, 16, 17%. And now they're in the stratosphere suddenly with Hilton and Bianco.
Yeah, it could be.
I think if he had stayed in the race, it stays watered down. It would have stayed more split. And I really, really think there was a 30-70 chance, 30 being it would happen, 70 that it would not happen, that the both of them, Bianco and Hilton, would be on top. Mm-hmm. But now, I don't think there's a chance in hell.
Well, there's a union vote, and as I think mentioning it to you, maybe I didn't say it on the air, but the unions poured in money.
SEIU,
and
teachers.
You're supposed to report it to the Fair Political Practice Commission when you get it, and he got it the day this started. 4, 5, 6. He shows deposits from Dignity. It doesn't mean it's our local, but it is the union of Dignity Health Workers. 2 million, SEIU $1 million, another 2 million from the SEIU, the nurses 1 million, United Airline pilots put in a bunch of money. So those unions, where are they going? That would be my question. But first of all, how are they going to get their money back? I mean, you're talking, Swalwell had 7 million in 2 days. And that buys a lot of TV ads for some candidate if he directs it, or is he going to pocket it? Because he can say, I might run for something someday, and then he can spend it going places for the next, how many years that money lasts, which that much money will last.
I thought the most interesting audio I heard all weekend, and I didn't grab it because I don't think my audience even knows who Willie Brown is anymore. But
that's too bad. You should do a feature on him.
I should.
Brilliant guy.
Brilliant guy.
Leader.
I tell him the story that I met him when I would have washed his car. He was so charming. Mm-hmm. And it was amazing what he said. He criticized Swalwell. He said it's Democrats' fault because this isn't something new.
No secret.
It's the worst secret kept in the Democratic Party. And they asked him, who are you endorsing? And he said, I don't have a clue because there's no one that impresses me. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I'm telling you, Hilton's got a fighter's chance.
Yeah.
He really does.
If he can woo some of those over there. Swalwell, for goodness sakes, like I was on KGET this morning and talking about the fact that, he dated, which means a Chinese spy, when he didn't know she was a spy, he says at the time, but from China, and she's all into issues, and she's even giving him interns to be in his congressional office.
She worked for him.
Yeah. Oh, did she get on payroll too?
Yeah.
Okay, but so by the time the government got to
him
and told him that she was a spy, then he dumped her. Kind of odd that story that it took that long. It also, these staff people to him, you saw this, some of you were victims, and you kept your mouth shut. For them, they have the majority of the House of Representatives. They have 200 congressmen hiring there and 50 senators. Any of them could have moved to another office. So I don't understand that either if they knew it. And you had to know it with his lifestyle.
Yeah.
So that's just a lot of cover up for a pretty pathetic man, but you know.
And the one girl who's claiming rape said that she reached out to him to meet for drinks. I'm like, that just, you know, and it's a touchy situation because you don't want to discredit these women, these survivors, but you're right. We've, at some point as a society, we've got to turn the corner and stop. This is going to sound weird, but stop making them out to be helpless victims.
Exactly.
I think journalism is what started this. I think the idea that we don't identify them gives them the sense that they should be ashamed.
Mm-hmm.
Why should they be ashamed that they're a victim of a crime? Just because it's a sexual crime? I've never understood that. And I think by journalists saying, we're not going to produce your name, is like, you should be ashamed. And you should be so ashamed, we're not even going to print your name as a victim of a crime. It just, we've got to get past this, and we've got to start telling women, look, you've got to step up. You've got to step up and say something, because you, as heartless as it may sound, you are part of the problem. When you enable these guys and you don't nail them to the cross the minute it happens, in my opinion.
Or walk out or say no before it happens, which all of us, me included, have done. It is doable. It is doable to just not make it happen. Now, if they were falling for him and they knew he was married, all that, I don't know. But you wonder, you say to the vote, how many voters didn't know? They knew about the Chinese spy thing.
Bang,
but
bang.
they kept voting for him. He got 67% of the vote last time, and I'll go right back to why. You can't dynamite these people out of office when the district is drawn, and I should have brought Xerox a picture of it. His congressional district in the Bay Area is just jagged like this, picking and choosing voters so that there's no way enough Republicans are in there to vote against him, or conservative Democrats. They study all their habits. That's why, even as bad as he was before this week, we knew this about him for years. Before this week, people were still voting for him. Majority, 67% voted for him a year ago, November. And I just remind your listeners and your viewers, it's because of the way the seats are drawn. If they are drawn to elect particular people, and that's wrong. The voters are not players in this. And that's the system I want to change. And you can email me at cabernathy@libertystar.net, and I'll give you the plan. Very fair. Don't break up cities and counties. The less you break them, the better your plan. But anyway, the fact that those kind of members of Congress can stay in forever and not be beat is because of the way the law. Good candidates. There's a lot of good candidates in that Bay Area. Even Democrats, they could have run, but they can't beat them because it's drawn for that particular member. But
is he going to be expelled? And will this open the floodgates for expulsions?
Well,
like Corey Mills and Tony Gonzalez and
he quit.
Sherry, what's his name?
He's quit now.
He quit Congress?
Yeah, today, just a couple hours ago.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, you're probably in rude here. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So
well,
he's
there's the end
out,
of that.
But did you notice Hakeem Jeffries when he said, yeah, we should be thrown, or no, the Bay Area Democrat that's always on TV.
Ro Khanna.
He said, yes, but we should have a Republican out too at the same time. Like, it's all a game. If we don't want to give the Republicans a boost, so we're not going to throw our horrific man out unless they find a equal or less than equal horrific person to throw
Much
out.
less, because there's a night and day between
Yeah.
Tony Gonzalez and Eric Swalwell.
Right.
Tony Gonzalez is not accused of a crime. And as I said at the top of the show, that's why I mentioned Tony Gonzalez, because if you threw out everybody that had an affair with their staffer, you couldn't fill the room. Okay, let's be honest about that. But he got caught, so he should be punished, and he lost. But to compare him with Swalwell, no. This man, there is a probe out of New York because it happened in a hotel room in New York, plus what's going on in D.C. No, he might go to jail. There's a big difference. Tony Gonzalez isn't going to jail. Big difference. And they've only expelled 6 members, and 3 of them were slave owners, Confederate soldiers. 2 of them were felons, and 1 of them was the astronaut George Santos, or should I say, well, I mean, just whatever.
Whatever you want.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, piece of work.
Oh, the lies that guy told. Good googly moogly.
Well,
Oxford grad, shark fighter. I don't know what the hell that guy. So I mean, I don't know. Maybe this opens up the floodgates and they start bouncing people.
I know it's always hard for people to point to others outside your district, and now you're going to start. And it's got to be almost this kind of public scrutiny, really large public scrutiny. But on that governor's race, and I want to warn your listeners so they don't quit when they get that ballot. Your ballot's going to be so long this time because 62 Democrats are running and another 14 Republicans just for governor. Whereas I mentioned Barack Obama Shaw is running.
Yeah.
And so is but other occupations, like we have someone who's voter integrity lawyer. He's not just a lawyer, he's for voter integrity lawyer.
What wins? What do you think wins?
Occupation?
No.
Oh.
Percentage. Because I think 30% could win.
Oh.
I think
yeah,
30% could get you in the general election. That's why I think it's a tragedy that we lose Swalwell's 12%.
Well, I still think Katie Porter's going to come out pretty strong if she does that fighting kind of campaign. Steyer's campaign, although he's on all the time, he prints his own money. He's going to have ads. If he's running ads like he's running now, you can guess what you'll be filled with in May.
Yeah, and you know what he's saying today, don't you?
No.
All that damn money I spent on Swalwell, damn. Because that's all the ads I've seen lately. Him crushing Swalwell about, and they're great ads about not going to work.
Oh.
And him in a pool with a pina colada, and they're great ads. But he's like, damn, that's a bunch of wasted money.
I wonder who he'll take on next.
Katie, that's his biggest.
Yeah, he's
that's his biggest opponent.
She would be. I haven't looked up where her money's coming from and whether she'll get the union money because they obviously were behind Swalwell. But
Katie Porter, governor of California. Can you imagine?
No, I hope for our sake.
And did you hear the ugly rumor?
What else is there? Her foul
Kamala might jump in.
I thought that was for president.
Well, that's the reason that they think that she may jump in for governor because she went to the Al Sharpton's NAM
campaign school.
It's NAM, and I forget what it stands for. I used to know, but I'm so sick of Reverend Al. But he asked her if she was going to run for president, and she said, I'm thinking about it. And the audience went nuts. Well, the Democratic Party went nuts as well. And they were like, no, Kamala, no. And apparently, from what I was told by a buddy of mine, Mike Davis, he used to work for Maxine Waters, he said that the word got back to her camp, that the party was like, So now she's thinking about running for governor. And you know what? She could screw around and win.
I don't know, because remember, Obama got her out in December, so she wouldn't be on the March ballot for president in California because he didn't think she could win. And then he wanted to move her into this whole thing he did with your good friend Clyburn and all that. That was all the setup, get her out, get her VP. So I don't think they want to risk it. I don't know if they want to risk it with her because both those Republicans, if either one could debate her through the door. I mean, she's too easy in that regard. I mean, she basically almost won a debate with Joe Biden, which, that's pretty much any American can do that.
The audio, I mean, just the audio from that interview with Reverend Al is just amazing.
And she was
She's
Attorney
so
General
bad.
of California.
That's amazing. I don't know how she pulled that off.
San Francisco.
DA, she was the DA of San
that was
Francisco.
thanks to your friend Willie Brown. Yeah, but still, how she didn't fool everybody every minute of the day, which I don't think she did, but it just wasn't a national audience. And probably her early years, there wasn't as much of the media all over this.
And she was much younger. She's about my age, so she was in her late 30s, early 40s, and she's a very attractive woman.
But she didn't do
anything. Well, that's America. That's America. If you look good and you can get some backing, some money, you can win.
Yeah.
Look at Gavin Newsom. His looks have gotten him a long way because he's about as dumb as a rock.
Right.
Who can go on television and say I'm stupid and still have a viable presidential campaign? Right. A good-looking rich white guy. That's who.
Well, I call him the I love me candidate.
Yeah.
That's when you look at that face and his smile and everything is that I'm just beautiful. He's so sad. We're the size of a country, bigger than most countries, and this is what we have. This is what we have.
That's why I think we have a fighter's chance. I really do, because this state there can't be one person in the state of California who really thinks we're doing well. You know what I'm saying? There can't literally, there can't be one engaged human being, whether they're liberal as hell or conservative as hell, who really thinks California's on the move. We're really doing well. Think about it, Kathy. Can there be one person who really thinks that?
That's why I keep telling people who are upset about things is your problems are not in Washington, D.C.
No, they're in Sacramento.
Your gas was higher than everybody's else before all this went on. It's $1 a gallon is tax. It's just it's California. That's what it is. The fact that they changed and raised the price in the summer for the summer blend. Like these guys in Sacramento have a clue about what kind of should be in your gas tank in the summer.
And I'm realistic. I'm not thinking that Democrats are going to run and vote for Steve Hilton or Chad Bianco, but I think there are a lot like my mother who may stay home, who just may stay home and not vote.
Donald Trump got 40% of the statewide vote. That's in California without campaigning. There is plenty of people that think this place has got to change. The sad thing is they got to understand we got to change who's in the Capitol building because that's where the problem starts and ends is inside that building. But it wouldn't hurt to have a governor who at least try to veto. Vetoes will be overridden, but that's for another day. We can debate that. I'll probably discuss that on Wednesday.
Yeah. Final. What is wrong with Donald Trump? I had three listeners, all females, all devout Catholics, text me over the weekend via Facebook, which I hate. I forget if you're on Facebook, they can contact me, but that's beside the point. Who said, I'm done with him, Ralph. I'm done with him. My Catholicism out trumps my politics. And if you don't know what we're talking about, you don't listen to the show. You just must have bumped into the show because most of my listeners are engaged, where he dressed himself up as Jesus and said later, oh, I thought I was being a doctor. And
or a Red Cross ad.
Yeah. And it's just, he thought he was a doctor. And it's just not going over well with people like my mom. Well, my mom doesn't count. She's a Democrat. But I had 3 different ladies, 4 with my mother, call me and say, I'm done with him.
Well, it was a stupid thing to put up. If someone designed it for him, I don't think he's an AI guy.
No.
And he didn't veto
They
it.
showed it to him and he loved it.
He must have.
And
somebody who had the night shift, I guess. And but okay, that was wrong, dumb in every possible way. But meanwhile, everybody that's been beating him up over the last couple of days, and then he moves right into taking over the Straits of Hormuz. So this administration is always thinking they're not getting pushed around by Iran. They're pushing back at him. And so for everybody to keep second guessing everything that he's doing on the real work that he's doing, gosh, folks, let's look at what we've done just now. We're going to get in our Navy in there. We're going to look for mines under the water so that we can keep having ships going through there. We're playing real hardball with them. But what's the alternative? To do what Biden did, hand them money?
But again, and I'll be redundant, my problem is not what we're doing, but how we're doing it. We're playing checkers, Kathy. We're not playing chess. In chess, and it's one of the reasons I'm a C+ chess player, checkers, you play one at a time and you react to what you do. If you move here, ooh, I jump you and I move. But in chess, you have to think 3, 4, 5 moves down the line. I'm moving here because I think he's going to move there, and then I'm going to move there, and I'm going to move there. That's not how we're doing this.
Wait a minute. He went in and destroyed a lot of the structure.
But when do you think we came up with this blockade idea? You really think this was like talked out as part of what we're going to do, or did it pop up over the weekend?
No, it didn't pop up over the weekend. Every option. That's what these military brains do. They try to decipher it long in advance. This is what's going to happen when this happens.
So then why did he at one point
take over the Straits at step 1 when they've got all their ammunition ready to shoot at you and all their leadership alive and in charge?
Well, why did he say at one point he was willing to walk away from the Strait of Hormuz when he told Western Europe to go get your own oil? Mm-hmm. And that's almost a direct quote.
Well, I don't blame him for talking back at him because they're worthless. They do nothing to protect themselves. They put all their money into welfare so that nobody even bothers to work over there. But he had every right to bark at them. We spend a ton of our money protecting them, and then they do nothing back. But he's protecting it. But he's not going to say in advance, don't worry, you guys, I'll take care of it when they go after the Straits. No.
And now we need their help with this. Because for us to keep the Straits open by ourselves, it's going to be very difficult. We need NATO now.
well, I don't know about NATO, but we need the countries around there that are not the Iranians friends that can help us in the straits. But I don't know that England's going to come in and do anything, or if they'd even know what the right thing is to do.
Well, they have the minesweepers that we need, from what I read.
Well, we don't have any.
Not like Great Britain.
Not
No.
like Great Britain. Well,
No.
let's see if let's care. And then, of course, the best thing coming out of this is that America is waking up to the fact that we actually need oil to survive in this world, our own. And we're sitting on it here in Kern County, and this governor and this legislature won't let us pull it out of the ground. And I'm so glad that this lesson about oil is coming out because we cannot survive on solar panels, which have to be made with petroleum products, by the way. That New England's finding out solar panels and windmills in the ocean is not cutting it for them. So they're very much going to want their oil.
Want to thank you for sitting in on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Kathy will be hosting the show while I am down in Los Angeles on Wednesday. Are you using the regulars?
Different regulars.
No, my regulars.
Who are
The
you?
Van
Oh, I don't know who
Alstynes,
they are.
Jennifer and Ryan Van Alstyne from Adaptive Networks,
I
and
didn't-
Howard Marcus.
No, I lined up a show. I didn't know I was supposed to do that.
It's up to you.
Oh, okay. Well,
Just let me know
I'll figure
so
out.
I can let them
Okay.
know.
All right.
Kathy Abernathy. We head into the back half of the hour. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, streaming live at kernradio.com. IT. It's a total promotion.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN.
With us are
No, they don't have
Diamond
to.
Keith Peters in Washington. A resignation and a retirement from Congress today from two representatives.
Yeah, he's fine.
Democratic Representative Eric
We don't like
Swalwell
Howard.
of California says he will resign from
Howard
Congress
Marcus?
following sexual
You could have-
assault and misconduct allegations.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Republican
Then you don't like. I was
Tony
asking you. You don't like
Gonzalez of
Howard?
Texas says he will retire from Congress amid bipartisan calls to
You got something
expel
for 4
him.
o'clock?
Gonzalez had already said he would not
Okay.
seek re-election after admitting to an affair with a staff member who later died by
Okay, I'll let
suicide.
Howard know.
President Trump says the American
Okay.
military has begun a
Okay,
blockade
that's
of
no problem.
Iranian
All right,
ports.
thanks a lot.
Trump's statement on Monday was part of his effort to force Tehran to open the Strait of Hormuz and accept a deal to end the war that's raged for more than 6 weeks. On Wall Street, the Dow by 301 points. More details at srnnews.com.
Kern Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN. Headlines from the KERN newsroom.
I'm Chris Davis. GoFundMe accounts with a claim that they are for the benefit of Tulare County Deputy Randy Hoppert are phony, says Tulare County Sheriff Mike Boudreau. He says the family has made no such arrangements and has also not authorized anyone else to do that. And if you want to help, the best way is to donate through the Tulare County Deputy Sheriff's Association. A fatal wreck is being reported by the Highway Patrol. They say it happened Sunday on Highway 33 near McKittrick, near Addy Avenue, and a man driving a Toyota Tacoma ran off the side of the highway and flipped several times with the truck coming to rest in a field. That man died at the scene. His name has not been released, and the Highway Patrol is trying to figure out why he lost control of the truck. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN.
Hey folks, Scott Cox here for King Door Company. I had my garage door installed over 20 years ago and it still works like the day it was installed. So I know all about King Door's quality products, but let's talk service. At King Door Company, it's an obsession. Whether you're having your garage door installed, serviced, or repaired, you can count on King Door Company to do it right. And it all starts with training. All King Door techs have been through the King Door Academy, an on-site training center where technicians study the very latest in garage door technology so that when they show up at your house, they have all the experience and product knowledge they need to take care of your garage door. They really are the state of the art. And when you pair that expertise with King Door's legendary customer service, you get a service experience that can't be beat. So whether you need a new garage door or just service on an existing door, regardless of who built or installed it, count on the pros at King Door to do the job right. Just call 397-2744 or check them out online at kingdoor.com. King Door Company, the company with the pride of a lion.
First Look with Scott Cox, morning 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Tuesday edition of the First Look program, all we got water issues, and who better to discuss them with than the best in the business? Lois Henry, sjvwater.org. We'll also have news and traffic and weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at News Talk 96.1 and also AM 1230 and streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230. KERN.
Hey, it's JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, starting at 1 p.m. Now back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
Eight 5376 842-KERN. The other three Congress members that are being examined for possible exposure are Corey Mills, Tony Gonzalez, and Sheila McCormick is the other woman who is being accused of fraud. And like I said, the only most recent members of Congress who have been booted, both were felons, two were felons, and then, of course, our good friend George, what was his name? What's his last name? George Santos.
Yeah.
Is that his last name? Santos?
Santos.
But if this black woman gets convicted, she's gone. She's gone. And she's a Democrat. Gonzalez, I don't think should be expelled for having an affair. I think that should be left up to the voters, and it was, and he lost. But I think he should be able to fulfill his term. I don't think there should be a 1-for-1. And apparently that situation has been settled because since the show began, or just shortly before the show started, apparently Eric Swalwell has resigned from Congress because they were lining up their own independent probe. That doesn't mean that he's out of the hot water by any means. The state of New York has begun an investigation because one of the rape allegations occurred in a hotel in New York City. So he's in deep doo-doo. He realizes now he's got to take some of that campaign money and find his H.A. Sala and try to fend off the dogs. He released a statement. This was prior to a lot of the bombshell news that occurred. I think this was on Friday when the allegations first broke. But when I say it was before a lot of the bombshell revelations, it was before Pelosi and the higher-ups within the party suggested that he not only get out of the gubernatorial race, but that he resign from Congress. And I think it was right before the 50 members of his own staff wrote a letter and all summarily resigned. But here is the disgraced former Congressman Eric Swalwell.
Today through anonymous allegations. And I thought it was important that you see and hear from me directly. These allegations of sexual assault are flat false. They are absolutely false. They did not happen. They have never happened. And I will fight them with everything that I have. They also come on the eve of an election where I have been the frontrunner candidate for governor in California. I do not suggest to you in any way that I'm perfect or that I'm a saint. I have certainly made mistakes in judgment in my past, but those mistakes are between me and my wife. And to her, I apologize deeply for putting her in this position. I also apologize to you if in any way you have doubted your support for me. But I think you know who I am. For over 20 years, I have served the public as a city councilman, as a member of Congress, and as a prosecutor who went to court on behalf of victims, particularly on behalf of sexual assault victims. That's who I am and have always been. This weekend, I'm going to spend time with my family and friends.
All right, that's enough. That's enough of that. Yeah, we know who you are. That's the problem. And we now know, thanks to Tom Steyer and his ads, that Swalwell literally, out of the 435 members, has one of the worst show-up records of all the members, in as much as that he doesn't show up. And he missed some major votes that Steyer has pointed out in much of his advertising. But again, I think this is a god-awful thing. I think the reason that Kathy doesn't think it's that bad is because I don't think Kathy was ever on board with my concept that both Republicans could win, that we could have two in the general. I think she believes that Katie Porter was going to emerge or maybe somebody else. But I think had it remained watered down and Swalwell had, hovered around 10, 13 percentage points, because again, and I don't think I even got an answer because I was running my big bazoo, but I personally think that 25% could win. And Steve Hilton's at 17 and Bianco's at 15. And, with a little support from independents and some of those undecideds, they could both get into the 20s, and that could do it. That could absolutely do it. Now, I think Bianco has got to be the nervous one. I think Hilton is assured one of the top spots because he's polling at 17, 18%. I think that gets you in. I don't think there are going to be two Democrats that are going to be in the 20s. I don't think Tom Steyer and Katie Porter suddenly jump in the 20s. I don't think that. I think it's going to go one way or the other. I'd much prefer Tom Steyer over Katie Porter, but I think she has more name recognition, although he has an overwhelming amount of money. As Kathy likes to say, he prints his own damn money. And meantime, Steve Hilton was on with Dana Bash over the weekend. Here is the leading candidate for the state of California's gubernatorial race.
It'll probably lead to some consolidation on the Democrat side, but in the end, I don't think it makes much difference because the truth is, after 16 years now of one-party rule, exactly as you were saying earlier, the incumbents in California, the Democrats, who run everything without any constraint, the record is not great, let's put it that way. We've got the highest poverty rate in the country, the highest unemployment rate, highest cost of living. And so it is obviously time for change. And so whether it was going to be Swalwell, and I agree that it looked like the machine was getting behind him, whether now it's Tom Steyer or Katie Porter, I really don't think it matters because we need some balance in California and we desperately need change. And no Democrat can provide that.
I love that. I love his attitude. Doesn't matter. I'm still going to win. And in the general, I'm going to win. And if a Republican was ever going to win, it would be now because this state is limping. You know what the stat that blew me away was that Mississippi, a state that loyal listeners know I have unfairly degraded over my 22 years in radio because I spent a couple of days in Mississippi on several different occasions and was not impressed with the state. Let's just put it like that. And for them to be leading in education over the state of California is astounding. Absolutely astounding. We rank lower than the state of Mississippi in education. And I think he's right. I think that voters have just had it with the poverty and the homelessness, the fire situation down in Southern California, the ridiculousness of high-speed rail, just the manner in which we're running people out of this state, the fact that my uncle in South Carolina is complaining that he's paying $4.20 for gas when you all are paying close to $6. And why is that? Because of Sacramento. We've seen how, what's the word I'm looking for, useful Sacramento is in terms of even just prosecuting cases. They can't even do that. Rob Bonnet can't even prosecute a child molester correctly. He sends down one of his idiot peons who's got to, go at it with H.A. Sala. Who's going to win that fight? Oh, I guess who? Humberto Sala, 9.9 times out of 10. And now Zach Scrivener has divided an entire community and is walking somewhere, probably on the Cal State campus, a free man. This state is in trouble. And it all emanates from our capital. And you know what? If Katie Porter or Tom Steyer wins, I'd throw my hands up and just say, you know what? You get what you deserve. So stop complaining because this state is going to continue to go down and down and down because Democrats, no matter who it is, No matter how moderate the Democrat is, there's certain boxes the Democrat has to check off. SEIU is one of them. Teachers unions, another one. There are certain big shots in the state of California that are running the state the Democrats have to answer to. That is their scariest fear of a Republican getting in there, because a Republican doesn't answer to SEIU, doesn't answer to the teachers union, doesn't answer to the lawyers union, doesn't answer to any of those unions. And they are scared to death of that. They lived through that with Arnold Schwarzenegger. And it cost them. So if California is stupid enough to hire Tom Steyer, who's never been elected to anything, or Katie Porter, a disgraced congresswoman who has anger issues and is just not a nice person, and by the way, is as liberal as it gets. I'm going to go back and find the audio from Bill Maher's show where she was defending transgender men playing in sports and went after Riley Gaines. Remember we talked about this a couple of months ago, where she claimed that Riley Gaines was simply doing this for likes and clicks, et cetera, et cetera. I came on the show that Monday because the show airs on Friday, and I was like, has she lost her mind? Riley Gaines is doing this for likes. You don't even know this woman if you say something as stupid as that, because she's a former athlete who's looking out for her fellow athletes in terms of the locker room and competition. And this tone-deaf broad goes on national television and says, oh, she's only fighting this fight for clicks and likes. They're just out of touch. They live a different life than we do. They're human beings. They have to be out of touch. You couldn't live the life of a Congress member and be a normal person. You really couldn't. Of the 435, as I said earlier today, there are about 50 of them that are normal. The Vince Fongs, the David Valadales, the guys that realize that I'm no better than anybody else. I just happen to be lucky to get this gig. But the other 400 of them, they think they were destined. This is their destiny. I deserve to be here. I deserve all the perks. I'm not supposed to go through a TSA line. I'm not supposed to sit and coach. I'm not supposed to leave here with a $175,000 salary. I'm supposed to leave here a millionaire, just like everybody else. I'm supposed to get the insider trading tips, just like all of my other 435 other Congress members. And so they leave their millionaires. They have to be tone deaf. You could not be a regular person and be treated like a Congress member. You couldn't. Getting the inside dope on a trade and making hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars on the side. Being sifted through quickly the airport, not having to wait in line like the rest of us idiots. So you don't give a damn what happens to the TSA people. God, it makes me ill. And we do nothing. We have met the enemy, and he's us. We live in a democracy, for God's sakes. If some of you Democrats would just stop playing for the team and start thinking about this country and really examine what some of these people are talking about, listen to Steve Hilton. Pay attention to what he's talking about and examine who has caused all these problems in this state. I mean, that's not a partisan question. That's just the fact. All of the problems that are created in the state have come at the hands of Democrats. And I was a Democrat for 35 years of my life. Please stand by. Please stand by. 842-5376, 842-KERN. Did I tell you about my weekend?
Not really, no.
I'll tell you during the break.
Why? What happened?
I just had a good weekend.
Oh, okay, in a good way. Okay, good.
Oh, it's very good. Someone from my deep, dark past emerged.
Again?
Yes. Same person that made the phone call.
Ah.
Out of nowhere.
Gotcha.
Took her to Casey's Steakhouse late Saturday night. Much to Liz's chagrin.
She was trying to close?
Yeah, it was about 10 o'clock. Here.
Dang.
No, I'm kidding. Oh, Jesus. That's going to get back to Liz. I was joking. She could not have been nicer. Liz was like, do you need anything else? Any food? Are you hungry, Ralph? Something to go?
We'll make it for you in the back.
Yes, I'll make it for you personally. She was wonderful. I love Liz. Get me in trouble, Jack. Good cooling.
Hear something.
Oh, you know it is. Flores will rat me out. Somebody.
That is his favorite part.
Oh, you have no idea. See, I can rat him out right now, but I won't do it. I'm not going to throw him under the bus. Quick timeout. We're coming right back. It's TRBS. We'll check the board, see what y'all are talking about. Then in the 5, we've got some other audio we'll get to. I'll get you caught up on the Brian Hooker situation, the Bahamian situation. We'll check the board and find out because he was supposed to be released or charged by 4 o'clock our time. He's been arrested in connection with the disappearance of his wife, Lynette, who allegedly fell off of a dinghy as they were headed to their yacht about 7:30 in the evening. It is now a recovery. It's not a rescue any longer. It's been days now. But you'll hear the audio. We've got some more audio of him just kind of flippantly alluding to her death. And I know that's not enough to found somebody guilty, but as they like to say in these days, as the kids say, my spidey senses tell me he's guilty as sin. Quick timeout. Coming right back. It's TRBS on a Monday, right here on Newstalk 96.1 and AM 1230, where we're streaming live at kernradio.com.
Kern Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM
Any
KERN.
Tuesday edition, Clay Travis.
Who do you get it from now that she's
Strait of Hormuz blockade moves into day 2. What is the
Loudness?
overall impact? How is the negotiated ceasefire process playing out in the Middle East? We will break all that down for you. Plus, Senator Rand Paul will join us. Kentucky has an open Senate seat coming up for grabs. What does he expect in his state? All that more. You won't want to miss it. Tuesday edition, Clay and Buck.
Live at 9 a.m. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
She came up to me. I was at KC's the other night. She came up to me.
Steakhouse is lunch.
It's in the front. They went through the front.
Or wherever on Truxton.
That's why
Not
she
very
must have come up to
far,
me.
and
She wanted me to
it's
see
real
the
quick
scar. I
and
didn't see
very
it.
convenient, and the
I wasn't
menu
paying
is
that close
similar to
attention.
Smaller portions, and it is
Yeah, I really
outstanding.
wasn't. I
And
really, really
the
wasn't.
variety on the menu that Chef Daniel has put together now is simply unbelievable. It's mostly a large groups that come to Casey's Steakhouse. And not everybody's feeling red meat to celebrate someone's birthday or an anniversary or whatever the event may be. And that's why Chef Daniel has advanced the menu. So there's Italian food. I love the fettuccine Alfredo with chicken. The lobster mac and cheese is everybody's favorite. The fish dishes, the mahi-mahi, the swordfish, the halibut. Where would you rather be than on F Street? And don't forget about the Stockyard next door for meetings, banquets, or just having dinner and having some of the craft cocktails that are served next door. It's Casey's Steakhouse, longtime sponsors of the Ralph Bailey
When
Show.
the dollar's convertibility into gold ended in 1971, gold was fixed at $35 an ounce. Fast forward to today, and the US dollar has lost over 85% of its purchasing power. Meanwhile, gold has increased in value by over 12,000%. Central banks are buying gold at record levels. Major firms are holding significant positions in gold. And I choose to buy gold from Birch Gold Group. Stan Bongino, and it all starts with education. Birch Gold just announced their Learn and Earn Precious Metals event. This free online event rewards you for learning the basics of investing in precious metals. Sign up to get free silver on your next purchase if you qualify. And you can get even larger incentives as you go. The more you learn, the more you can earn. But act now. This special event only runs through April 30th. So text my name, Dan, to the number 989898 to join Birch Gold's Learn and Earn Precious Metals event by April 30th. Text Dan to 989898 today. Message and data rates may apply.
Are gas prices the final straw to break the camel's back? Are you drowning in debt so that more gas means you can't pay for other essential stuff? Are you getting collection calls, emails, and texts on credit cards, medical debt, loans, buy now, pay later, and so forth? The attorneys at Clean Slate BK Group have a solution to make the nightmare go away. CSBK can stop the harassment, get rid of the balances, maybe even get your car payment reduced, and get you reset in the right financial direction for a fraction of the time and money of a debt settlement program. A Chapter 7 BK takes about 6 months, and at the end, the financial straws will be off your back. Log on to csbk.com and read what real people just like you have to say about what CSBK has done for them. This is an attorney advertisement. Your results may vary, and prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome. Clean Slate BK Group PC, located located at 7 Penn Plaza, Suite 601, New York, New York 10001, is responsible for the content of this ad. For more information, visit CSBK.com. That's CSBK.com to end your financial nightmares.
Clay Travis and Buck Sexton live at 9 a.m. Now back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
JR just told me that Congressman Gonzalez has resigned, so that solves that problem. Now there's just Corey Mills left and Sheila McCormick. McCormick is the one that's really in trouble. Mills is just rumors of sexual assault. I'm not poo-pooing that. I mean, that's significant. But McCormick is under investigation criminally, and that's why there have been so few people expelled, because very few people are as stupid as George Santos to hang around and wait for expulsion. Once they realize that the goods are up, I mean, think of Dan Rostenkowski. I can think of a lot of people that went to jail that got convicted, but they wouldn't wait until they got expelled. They resign. That's what you do. You don't wait till you get expelled. But Santos, who had the IQ of a rock, waited and waited and thought he could fight his way out because, he's talked his way through everything throughout his whole life, lying most of the time. So he thought he was smarter than everybody and somehow he could wiggle his way out. And they were like, no, get the hell out of here. So that solves that. Now we'll wait to see what happens with Corey Mills and Sheila McCormick. And we'll wait to see what happens to Swalwell criminally. Because they are serious in the state of New York. And of all states to have made this mistake, man, New York. Not that U.S. District Court up there is the Southern District, they're pretty damn serious up there. And they like to clomp onto you. And once they do, their conviction rate is in the 90%. Swallow's not going to jail. Rich white men don't go to jail. You gone crazy. But he'll get convicted and maybe have to register. Maybe they won't send Joe Penny and he'll have to register as a sex offender, perhaps. I don't know. Or maybe they'll plead it out to a much lesser situation, most likely. But let's check the board real quick before we head into the final hour of the broadcast.
The first person is asking who your urologist was. They're looking for a good one.
Please stand by. He is a very good one. I like him. I've only met him. This is the first time I met him. But he seemed like a really good guy. Because at one point I just said, he said, the options are up to you. I said, what would you do if it were you? And he said, I would just wait the 4 months. Because he said we could have done the biopsy. I mean, oh, look, there's Ray. I love when Ray comes around, our former engineer, who now works for our current engineer and comes by. I'm sorry. His name is, please stand by. I think it's Ed Youngston. Edwin Youngstrom. Youngstrom, S-T-R-O-M. He's over there by Memorial off of San Dimas. Really good guy. Really good guy. Big fingers, though. Sorry. And I was thinking all day, God, at least I won't have to have that examination. I mean, they have the MRI. What do you need to stick your finger up my butt for? But lo and behold, he not only he examined me frontally, which was extremely bizarre. God, can you imagine if she'd been a woman? That would have been awkward. Because I felt awkward just standing there. Because the last time I did that was my dad. For like my, I don't even think Coffee has ever grabbed the junk. Chris, why am I talking about this?
I don't know.
But yeah, he's a really good guy. And if you need a urologist, I would go to him. Seems like a nice guy. A young cat. I don't think he even looked like he was 40. But what we're talking about is the fact that I just had an MRI, and he said that he wouldn't have even called for the MRI. And you know who came down with that very same diagnosis?
Who's that now?
Dr. Donnie Youngblood.
Really?
Who, when I announced that my A1C, my PSA was 4.3, that night he texted me with a chart and said, Ralph, 4.3 really is nothing to be even concerned about. It's a little high, but it's not. A lot of people have 4.3 PSAs. And I was like, well, I'm just telling you what my doctor said. And he was absolutely right, because and again, let me be redundant. I am not mad at Hemel-Cothry, even though it cost me $1,200 to have that damn MRI. But I'm not mad at all, because I would much rather my physician go overboard than underboard. I'd much rather him call for more tests than fewer tests. So I'm not even angry. But he said, I wouldn't even had it. He said, there's something there. Obviously, he said it's on a weird area of my prostate, and we'll look at it again. We'll look at my PSA in 4 months, and if it's over 4.3, we'll do the biopsy. And it's anesthesia's involved, so there's no pain, and bada-bop, bada-bip, bada-boop, and it's over. Little pain for a day or two. So I'm extremely excited about that, and we got good news about Howard Marcus, who had his biopsy. And we'll find out his fate very certain, but that's a good thing for Howard as well. Quick time out, head into the final hour of the broadcast. I'll get you caught up on Brian Hooker. You will hear him explain what happened that night, that infamous night that his wife fell off the dinghy, allegedly, and is somewhere at the bottom of the deep blue sea. It's the Ralph Bailey Show. I would stick around if I you.
Kern Radio, AM 1230, KERN, 96.1 FM, K241CI Bakersfield, an American General Media station.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. An AI-created image depicting President Trump as Jesus has been removed from the president's social media site.
I did post it, and I thought it was me as a doctor, and had to do with Red Cross as a Red Cross worker there, which we support. And only the fake news could come up with that one.
The president accused the press, but conservative Christians and other Republican allies of the president denounced the image as offensive and blasphemous. The EU countries are reacting to the defeat of Viktor Orban in Hungarian elections.
Leaders from across Europe, including NATO's Secretary General and the European Commission President, have congratulated winner Peter Magyar. However, some, like Italy's Prime Minister, have said kind words of Prime Minister Viktor Orban. French Prime Minister Emmanuel Macron has praised Magyar's commitment to EU values. Magyar has promised to repair Hungary's relations with the EU. Orban's 16-year rule often challenged EU governance, notably vetoing actions such as support for Ukraine following Russia's all-out invasion. Many European leaders saw Orban as a threat to European peace and prosperity. I'm Charles Villadesma.
A resignation and a retirement from Congress today from two representatives. Democratic Congressman Eric Swalwell of California says he will resign from Congress following sexual assault and misconduct allegations. Republican Representative Tony Gonzalez of Texas says he will retire from Congress amid bipartisan calls to expel him. Gonzalez had already said he would not seek re-election after admitting to an affair with a staff member who later died by suicide. On Wall Street, the Dow up by 301 points, the Nasdaq rose 280, the S&P advanced 69. More on these stories at townhall.com.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline, 800-305-6762. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline
I
today.
can't tonight. I got to meet with, I thought I could get out of it, but I'm meeting with Danny. Do you remember Danny Hill?
IRS alone. They can attack
He was on,
and even your Social Security
The Groove, and we
That's
were all at
800-305-6762
And they never
for your
brought-
free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-305-6762.
From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update.
Eric Swalwell says so long in the race for governor of California. 9 Chris Davis. He says he's suspending his campaign for now, making that announcement.
Yeah, that's why I'm gonna meet with him, so I can't. But let's do that later this week.
A lack of support with both Senator Adam Schiff and the California Teachers Association, calling the sexual misconduct accusations against the congressman troubling. Swalwell still denies those accusations, saying in his statement that they are false, but still
what's going on,
apologizing
Pop?
for any past
Good to see you,
misjudgment.
man.
But he says fighting those accusations is his job. And
Our
not
new
his
GM,
campaign's.
Ray.
A drive-by shooting
I
in
wish.
McFarland. Police there are looking for whomever it was who did all the shooting Friday night on San Pedro Street. They say several 911 calls came in just before 10 from people hearing gunfire. And when they got there, they found evidence of a shooting, but no shooters. They say no one was hurt and no one has been arrested. A man was killed in a wreck Sunday near McKittrick, says the Highway Patrol. Officers say the Toyota Tacoma ran off the side of Highway 33 and flipped several times, coming to rest in a field near Addy Avenue. The man who was driving the truck died at the scene, and they are still looking into why that happened. The man's name has not yet been made public. If you want to help the family of Tulare County Deputy Randy Hoppert, the best way to do that is through the Tulare County Deputy Sheriff's Association, says Sheriff Mike Boudreau. He says the scammers are already at it with fake GoFundMe accounts and people reporting that they are seeing that on social media. He says the family has not authorized any GoFundMes, and if you see one, it is a phony. The average price for gas in California today is $5.83 for a gallon of regular, says Gas Buddy. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN Newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN.
Coming to the Roswell in a month from now, this Hollywood big shot's gonna give you what you want. Too late. They start shooting in a week. I'm gonna make him an offer again with you.
The Ralph Bailey Show, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN.
And I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Final hour of the broadcast on this Monday, 13th day of April. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230. Streaming live at KERNradio.com. And all the Kern Radio studios are powered by Adaptive Networks. For all your IT needs, call Adaptive Networks at 661-241-0638 or hit them online at adaptive-net.com. In the meantime, we still got lots to do in the final hour. I have looked it up, and I can't imagine while none of the news agencies have updated the situation of Brian Hooker, who is a man who'd been married to his wife for 25 years. Friends, family members all agreed that it has been, to say the least, a troubled marriage that has been filled with incidents of domestic violence. In fact, back in 2015, they were both wounded in combat with one another. However, Lynette was the one that went to jail that night. She was not charged because they couldn't figure out who instigated it, which is amazing to me that they both didn't go to jail, because that's normally when they can't figure out who started it and both the wife and the husband have injuries, they normally take them both nowadays if they can't truly determine who started it. But Lynette went to jail that night. She wasn't charged. Then the daughter, we played the audio for you. The daughter claims that she's seen him choke out, because the daughter is his stepdaughter. That's not her biological father. And she insists that she saw him choke out his own biological daughter one night. And so, and quite obviously, as we all know, anytime a wife is murdered or dead or disappeared, the husband, just by proximity, if nothing else, is the leading candidate, the leading suspect. And so he's been arrested. He's been in custody for the last 48 hours, but the deadline was 4 o'clock our time for the Bahamian police to either charge him or release him. And I've searched near and wide, and the closest thing I got was about 3 hours ago, where they were saying the deadline looms, but they have not updated it. So he may still be in custody. They may have officially charged him. We'll update you tomorrow, obviously. But in the meantime, here's some audio of Brian Hooker. I don't know if this is him discussing this with his daughter, or this is audio from the
Police question.
from the police. Yeah, but he is explaining what happened the night that his wife, and again, for those who weren't with us earlier in the show or prior shows, they're big yachtsmen. What was the phrase you pulled up the other day? Yahtsees?
Yachties.
They're big yachties. And they have a beautiful yacht down in the Bahamas, but you can't put a yacht in a pier. So you got to anchor it offshore, and you take a dinghy out to your yacht. And that's what they were doing when she was driving the boat, which family and friends say is completely uncharacteristic, hit a wave, fell off the dinghy, and hasn't been seen since, although they have found her flotation device. He claims that he paddled back to shore when, again, I think that sets off a bells and whistle, because I would think if it's me, and this would probably get me killed, but I would be, paddling out to try to find my wife personally. And just his demeanor, I mean, just listen to this audio and just how, I don't know, just casual he is about the fact that his wife is dead.
I threw her a flotation cushion that we used to sit on dinghy, right after she went in. But I couldn't tell if she got it or not.
I mean, he just seems so casual and flippant. You threw her a floating device? You didn't jump in the water and try to save her? So if you threw her a floating device, you saw her. You saw her swimming. And again, if it's me, and I've told y'all, I'm an avowed coward. I got a streak of yellow running down my back as wide as the Mississippi. Are you kidding? But I think human instinct takes over. And you see a loved one floating around in the Atlantic Ocean, and you swim the other way to the coast. Yeah, baby, I'm gonna call the Coast Guard. I'll be right back. Just keep your head above water. I'll be back. Just keep your head up. Keep your head up. I mean, that's crazy. Again, I'm no hero. But if my wife, if my girlfriend fell off a boat, I'd be the second one in trying to save her. Not this guy. Not this guy. And they've questioned him several times. And it's one of the few times you're going to hear me go against my own thesis that you can't get away with murder in the 21st century. But if you were going to get away with murder in the 21st century, this is a pretty good way to do it. Because as we talked about on Friday, we don't know any facts about this thing. Maybe the police in the Bahamas know more, obviously. But is it enough to charge him? Is it enough to even take it to trial? Hell, taking it to trial is enough to even charge the man. Take it to, I don't know, their system of justice, whether they have a grand jury or whether they have a DA. I don't know how it works in the Bahamas. I've never been. But if they don't find that body, and here's the thing, when I say we don't know anything, we don't know that she's even in the ocean. He might have killed her on land. She might be buried somewhere deep, deep in the hills of the Bahamas. She may have never gotten on that dinghy. He threw her a flotation device. Well, that's mighty. There's a phrase that I can't use, but that's mighty big of you. Your wife is bobbing around the Atlantic Ocean, just fell off a boat, and you threw her a floating device. That's big of you. Good googly moogly. But who's the rat? He claims that he fired off 2 flares. There's been no reports of any sightings of any flares that night. How's that possible? That's the whole point of a flare. That somebody is going to see it. Nobody has been reported to have seen this thing that night. No one. I'm telling you, I'm willing to bet she never got on that damn dinghy, that he bopped her upside the head, chopped her body up, and she's in 9 different dumpsters in the Bahamas. They're never going to find that body, and this cat may get away with murder. And yes, we've talked about this. You can get convicted of murder without a body. It's happened. I brought up the case last week of you guys remember the very famous case, the Billionaire Boys Club? And they were cheated by this guy who stole all their money because they were freaking idiots. And they chopped his ass up and never found the body. And Joe, can't remember his last name, the guy that headed the Billionaire Boys Club, was still in jail. Still up in, I think it's in Quentin. So I'm aware, for those that are screaming at the radio, Ralph, you don't need a body to get a conviction. I'm aware of that. Circumstantial evidence can get you convicted. But there are no witnesses. I was right. I looked it up. There was no harbor master that night. So there's no one to report. Either they saw him leaving or they didn't see him leaving. He talked to one cat when he got back to shore, and the guy reported and told the cops that he was exhausted and he seemed flustered, blah, blah, blah. But what the hell does that mean? He's a seasoned seaman. He might have killed her, buried her, taken the dinghy out, thrown the key in the ocean, and paddled back from about 100 yards and made it seem like he was out there. But I'm telling you, I bet she's not even in the freaking Atlantic. Because wouldn't they have found her body? Because when we talk about this, you get input from other people. And somebody was saying, when I was talking about this the other day, somebody said, well, they found part of Stacy Peterson. That was out here up in the Bay Area. They found her body or parts of it. In fact, I think they found a baby. She was pregnant at the time. So if they could dig her up, you would think they'd be able to find this woman in the Bahamas. And that's why I'm thinking, I don't think she's in the ocean. I don't think if he was going to try to kill her, that he'd roll the dice with her body popping up. I'm just saying, this cat could get away with murder. Can you believe that? Let's go. Let's go ahead and take a quick break. We'll come back, check the board, see what you all are talking about. Bottom of the hour, we'll talk a little sports. Juan Soto, Bo Bichette, and the New York Mets roll into town tonight for a 3-game set to wrap up the 6-game homestand. It culminates on Jackie Robinson Day on Wednesday. This gentleman right here, I received this on one of the many Jackie Robinson days that my good friend Mike Parent takes me down to. As you can see, I have destroyed it, as I destroy just about everything I own. If you think I'm kidding, look what I've done to Mary Bethune. I beheaded her. Oh,
wow.
Toledo. I beheaded Mary Bethune.
Don't make it worse. We're trying to glue it back together.
Yeah, I'm going to get a little Gorilla Glue and try to make her whole.
Also, I'm not sure if Juan Soto will be playing against you this week.
Oh, good. Why? What's wrong with him?
He's on the 10-day DL with a right calf strain. They're expecting him back by the 21st.
That was the worst signing. That's going to go down as one of the worst signings in baseball history.
The Mets or him to the Yankees?
No, because he played well with the Yankees.
Yeah, but they still didn't win anything.
True that.
That was that was right at the peak of Aaron Judge's prime.
And they're not, and the Yankees aren't on the hook for a decade either.
Ooh.
Because I just don't think he's one of those guys. I think in 2 years, he's going to be an ordinary player.
Ooh, Judge?
No.
Soto.
Soto.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
I think he's going to just be an ordinary 260, 26 home runs.
And that
ain't $700 million worth.
You know who's kind of going the same way to me too?
Oh.
Ronald Acuna.
Has he really?
A little bit. The injury last year slowed him down, but I'm hoping he bounces back this year.
I love that kid.
I do too.
That's too bad. Quick timeout. Checking the board when we come home. It's TRBS on a Monday. Jackie Robinson week. Oh, wait, that's Mary Bethune. Sorry. On Newstalk 96.1 and AM 1230. Streaming live at kernradio.com.
Kern Radio. News Talk.
Messmaker.
Gotcha. KERN. First Look with Scott Cox. Morning 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Tuesday edition of the First Look program, all we got water issues, and who better to discuss them with than the best in the business, Lois Henry, sjvwater.org. We'll also have news and traffic and weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at News Talk 96.1 and also AM 1230 and streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230. KERN.
I am out of the office on Wednesday. Kathy Abernathy will be filling in, but I'm back on Thursday when Daniel Petrie from Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors joins us as per usual, along with Mr. Michael Turnipseed. And it'll be interesting to be able to talk to Daniel Petrie this week, given what is going on with the blockade and how that's going to impact the economy. That's what Daniel brings to the program. He can tell us what's happening as it's going on and even forecast what will happen in the future. So we'll talk with him. And of course, you know what Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors are all about. They're all about retirement. As I've told you, the smartest financial move I have ever made in my life was becoming a client of Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors. And I told you as well, colleagues here at the radio station that I've turned on to Daniel could not be happier about their decision. Call Daniel today at 395-9400, 395-9400. Be sure to tune in on Thursday at 4:30 with Daniel Petrie from Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors.
This broadcast is for informational purposes only and does not constitute investment advice or a solicitation for advisory services by Daniel Petrie or MPWA Incorporated, DBA, Messmaker, and Petrie Wealth Advisors. The program host is a client and receives compensation and other financial benefits in connection with this advertisement, creating a conflict of interest. Experiences discussed may not be representative of other clients.
Are gas prices the final straw to break the camel's back? Are you drowning in debt so that more gas means you can't pay for other essential stuff? Are you getting collection calls, emails, and texts on credit cards, medical debt, loans, buy now, pay later, and so forth? The attorneys at Clean Slate BK Group have a solution to make the nightmare go away. CSBK can stop the harassment, get rid of the balances, maybe even get your car payment reduced, and get you reset in the right financial direction for a fraction of the time and money of a debt settlement program. A Chapter 7 BK takes about 6 months, and at the end, the financial straws will be off your back. Log on to CSBK.com and read what real people just like you have to say about what CSBK has done for them. This is an attorney advertisement. Your results may vary, and prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome. Clean Slate BK Group PC, located at 7 Penn Plaza, Suite 601, New York, 10001, is responsible for the content of this ad. For more information, visit CSBK.com. That's CSBK.com to end your financial nightmares.
Here's a tale of Becky. Didn't know what to do with new meds prescribed and no real cost clue.
She squinted at prices, that can't be right. Then tapped GoodRx and saw the light.
She can get a deal. Book telehealth if you feel.
Learn about those meds without any stress. That one little app does all the rest. Even my horse downloaded it. Dang, saved time and money on prescriptions.
Check GoodRx. GoodRx is not insurance.
I've been burned before. I was just repeating the same patterns. It turns out I had a type.
Workplaces everywhere are looking for love. And by love, we mean the easy way to order food at work. Easy Cater.
I thought ordering from great restaurants at work had to be complicated, but then I met Easy Cater. So many options, so flexible, and when I ordered for 50 gluten-free vegans without going over budget, I knew I'd found the platform I wanted to do life and lunch with.
Fall in love with Easy Cater. Start an order at easycater.com.
You're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show. Catch me weekday morning 6 to 9 a.m. on First Look with Scott Cox.
I'm not gonna
Yeah. 842-537-6842 KER. Who you got?
JD.
JD, what's really going on?
Well, what's going on, Ralph? How are you?
I'm good, man. How are you? Where are you, in the Bay or in Vegas?
I'm in the Bay, but I'll probably be heading to Vegas either tomorrow or the next day.
Nice.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. So I'll be passing through town listening to your show. Question: how much money did the golf tournament make?
I don't know. Actually, I never got a number. Have we gotten a number yet?
I haven't heard one. If we have,
Yeah, I mean, we've got to present the check pretty soon, so we'll figure it out. But I'm guessing it had to have topped last year when I think we garnered about 24 grand. So I'm guessing upper 20s, maybe even $30,000.
Okay, well, I don't get to hear every minute of every show, so I thought maybe I missed it, so figured I'd ask.
Yeah, no, we haven't got a number yet. I'm glad you brought that up. I'm going to go ask today, as a matter of fact.
So my sources here say that there's more people coming forward for Swalwell.
Really?
Oh yeah,
I believe it.
Maybe as soon as tomorrow. I got pretty good authority that that's going to happen. And it's very interesting to me because everybody's now saying this is an open secret. Well, then why didn't anybody do anything about it? Why didn't anybody say anything about it this whole time?
Yep.
You know, they just say, oh, well, no, okay. But then as soon as, and it's kind of like the Cosby thing, it's just avalanches.
Yeah.
And you know, these girls are saying, you know, I went to the bathroom and then I don't remember anything. And that's kind of similar to what old Mr. Cosby did. You know, you know, there may be some other things involved. And now I haven't heard that on my sources, but when two girls say the same thing, that I don't remember anything, well, that you think maybe they've been roofied or something.
A little bit. Although, you know, you can black out just as easily getting trashed on liquor.
Absolutely.
But
it does make you wonder.
Yeah, and it doesn't make it right because she's, you know, 3 sheets to the wind for you to follow that up. Believe me, I've been in some situations, I don't mean to be crass or anything, but where it's like, I'm pretty sure it was okay, but I purposely didn't because I knew the girl was that drunk and I didn't want her waking up saying, well, I didn't. I'm like, you said yes, but if she doesn't remember that, now all of a sudden I'm in a courtroom. So
exactly.
There's a gentleman's code, I think, even, that you don't take advantage of a woman who is obviously on roller skates. And it seems to me that this is Eric Swalwell's modus operandi, actually.
And exactly. And so that makes you wonder. And like I said, I got under pretty good authority that there's going to be more people coming probably as soon as tomorrow.
Good.
We'll see.
Yeah, he's got to, you know, he's worried about expulsion and he's obviously resigned, but he's got to worry about staying out of jail.
Absolutely. And, you know, he's a former prosecutor and his 2 brothers are in law enforcement.
Yep.
So it's a tough situation for the family. No question about it.
And married with 3 kids.
Absolutely.
Tough.
Now, on another note, on a lighter note, I heard your Eddie Haskell reference the other day, which made me laugh because I've kind of been accused of that myself.
Yeah.
Might have figured out. And I hear you talk a lot about TV shows over the years that I've been listening. The one show I never hear you talk about, which kind of surprises me, because it should be right down your alley, which is WKRP in Cincinnati. It's a radio station. But I never ever hear you mention that show.
The only time we really talk about WKRP in Cincinnati, because I never ever wanted to get into radio. I kind of fell into radio. I was never ever on my radar. I got whacked from television on a Monday. I got contacted by Chris Porphyry on a Wednesday, literally 48 hours after I got whacked. He said, just come down to the studio and have lunch with me. I was in his studio the next Monday, so I'd been out of work for a week. It was about the same money. It was 3-4 hours on the air. I said, why not? I'll do this until I get another TV gig. And then after about a month, I was like, God, you get a check every 2 weeks for just talking for a couple hours? I think I could do this. And that's how I stayed with radio. But in terms of WKRP in Cincinnati, I wasn't a huge fan when it was on, but then it became a classic. And the only really time we talk about it is when we talk about turkeys, because I think that is the best of the episodes ever. Les Nessman and the not knowing that turkeys don't fly. It's a classic.
It's a very underrated show.
It is.
Got some great things. And of course, you know, you being the golfer, you would know the reference of Les Nessman calling him Chai Chai Rodriquez.
It was a great show with Howard Essman and Tim, I forget his name, the black guy. And
Tim Reed.
Tim Reed, and Lonnie Anderson, and
Yep.
the Bailey character. She was a beautiful young girl. Yeah, it was a good show. It was a good show.
Smithers, yep.
Yep. It was a good show. All right, JD, we'll have fun in Vegas, man. Good luck. I wish I had something I could give you. Give you the mush input.
So I always bet golf on the Saturday, right?
Yeah.
I had Scheffler 9-1.
Ooh, that'd have been a nice win.
That putt on 17, how does it not go
I
in?
don't know. I thought for sure it was going to turn right on him. I really didn't just drop in, but because if he makes that putt, Ragone is right. I don't know if you heard Nick earlier. He said they go into a playoff and Scheffler would have waxed him.
Yeah, he had made a bogey in 2 rounds.
Yeah, the whole weekend, first time, didn't make
and
a bogey.
I'm there at 9-1, going, oh
man, that'd have been a nice payday. Really would have.
Yeah.
All right, Pop. Always good to hear from you. Appreciate you.
All right.
All right. Take care. That's our man JD. Listen to us all the way up in Oakland, up in the Bay Area. Played in our golf tournament for the first time. Drove all the way down here with a buddy of his and his son. Headed into the final half hour of the broadcast. Keep it locked. Scott Jennings at the top of the hour. Tomorrow's a Tuesday. Sans Teresa Goldner, who is winging her way to the Orient. She'll be back in a couple of weeks. I have not heard back from Mr. Campbell, trying to get Clayton to fill in for her. And I'm going to throw out a Hail Mary to H.A. Solid to fill in 1 week. We'll see what happens.
Kern Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. San Francisco District Attorney Brooke Jenkins says that 20-year-old Daniel Moreno Gama has been charged with attempting to kill the OpenAI CEO, as well as a security guard at the residence through the incendiary device at the gate of Sam Altman's home on April 10th. A resignation and a retirement from Congress today from 2 representatives. Democratic Congressman Eric Swalwell of California says he will resign from Congress following sexual assault and misconduct allegations. Republican Congressman Tony Gonzalez of Texas says he will retire from Congress amid bipartisan calls to expel him. Gonzalez had already said he would not seek re-election. On Wall Street, the Dow up by 301 points. More details at srnnews.com.
Kern Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN. Headlines from the KERN newsroom.
I'm Chris Davis. A drive-by shooting in McFarland. That happened Friday night just before 10, and police there are still looking for the shooter or shooters. When they got to San Pedro Street after several 911 calls, they found evidence of a shooting, but the perps were long gone. No one was reported hurt in the incident. Congressman Eric Swalwell is no longer running for governor of California, announcing on social media Sunday evening that he is suspending his campaign for now. He has lost the support of both Senator Adam Schiff and California Teachers Association after reports of sexual misconduct, which Swalwell denies but says it's his job to fight that and not his campaign's. Gas on average in California today is $5.83 for a gallon of regular, says Gas Buddy. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN.
I remember brushing my hair and looking down and thinking, oh my gosh, do I have any hair left? I used to look at women with thick, beautiful hair and think, why doesn't my hair look like that? My thinning hair is making me feel so old.
If you want thick, healthy, gorgeous hair, then you need Hair Volume from New Nordic. With clinically proven ingredients like apple extract, biotin, and millet, Hair Volume nourishes your hair follicles to promote thicker, healthier looking hair. Say goodbye to shedding, thin, and dull hair, and hello to thick, healthy hair with Hair Volume.
Since taking Hair Volume, the shedding has all but stopped. Now, instead of being jealous of other women's hair, I have friends who are jealous of mine.
My hairdresser couldn't believe the difference in my hair. Now she's using Hair Volume too.
Available as a tablet or delicious gummy, Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com, or find Hair Volume in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Tuesday edition, Clay Travis, Buck Sexton Show. Strait of Hormuz blockade moves into day 2. What is the overall impact? How is the negotiated ceasefire process playing out in the Middle East? We will break all that down for you. Plus, Senator Rand Paul will join us. Kentucky has an open Senate seat coming up for grabs. What does he expect in his state? All that more. You won't want to miss it. Tuesday edition, Clay and Buck.
Live at 9 a.m. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
Hey, it's JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show.
Out of the board.
Ralph, there is reports of Katie Porter having multiple tirades against her staff and even pouring scalding hot mashed potatoes on her ex-husband's head in a heated argument. These representatives that are running for governor sound absolutely sad, angry, and not filled with any solutions for us. Hopefully, we can get this primary to the finish line and see a change in leadership in California.
Well, I told you the most telling statement came from Willie Brown. Whether you like him, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, this is one of the smartest politicians that's ever been in the state of California. I told you the story. I'm a young reporter. I'm 88. I'm 25 years old. I'm working for the LA Sentinel. I'm a political reporter. I'm about to go to Atlanta and cover the convention, but it's the middle of the campaign. And Willie Brown, who was at one point literally the most powerful man in the state of California. He was the head of the legislature and a powerful state legislator and ran Sacramento for a little bit. He is the reason that Kamala Harris has a career. I mean, I'm sure she would have been a fine lawyer without the help of Willie Brown, but she would have never been the DA. She'd have never been the AG. She'd have never been to the United States Senate had it not been for Willie Brown. And I've told you the story. I get assigned. Willie Brown was Jesse Jackson's West Coast campaign chair. And I met him twice. I didn't get to speak to him at Jesse Jackson's party. It was a party that I attended at Hollywood that Brown was there. I didn't get to speak to him, but I got assigned. He was speaking at a Mexican restaurant on Elvira Street, and I got lost. This is pre-Google, pre-maps. All I had was a Thomas guide, and I hadn't been in Elvira Street since I had been in 6th grade, and I got lost, and I showed up late. And Betty Pleasant, as I've talked about, was my editor. She's not a very nice woman. And it's just the case, it doesn't matter whether they're nice or not. You can't be assigned something in the world of journalism, whether it's television, radio, or print, and come back empty and say to your editor, I got there late and I missed the interview with Willie Brown. So one way or the other, I had to get this interview. And, you know, it's LA. So it's a pack of TV reporters, a pack of print reporters. I'm a half an hour late, and he's about to leave. He's like holding court, and I literally elbow my way through. I got guys yelling at me. I don't give a damn because I'm not going to tell Betty I don't have the story. And he starts walking as I'm coming toward him, and I say, I just happened to catch his ear. I said, Mr. Brown, my name is Ralph Bailey. I'm with the LA Sentinel. I just need 2 minutes of your time, sir. And he stopped, and he said, walk with me, young man. And we walked all the way to his limo with a pack of reporters following us, lights, the whole bit. And I asked him about 4 or 5 questions about, you know, what is Jesse going to do when he gets to Atlanta? Is there ever an opportunity that he might walk out of the convention and take his delegates with him and deny Dukakis the deal? And he was just brilliant. And he was just the most charming man. I mean, like I said, I would have washed his car. I would have gone home and made dinner for him. He just was incredibly charming and nice to me. And just one of the smartest cats that I'd ever met. To the point, over the weekend, they asked him who he is endorsing for governor. And he said, nobody. Nobody. There's nobody that stands out amongst this field. And to hear that from A, a Democrat, B, one of the smartest Democrats in the state, tells you that there is nobody really that can win this thing. Katie Porter is a damaged goods, as the texter just reported. She's got a horrible disposition. She's been caught many times berating her staff. That story about her husband has been well documented, where she poured, we compared him to Al Green, where Al Green had grits poured on him. She poured mashed potatoes on him. I guess that's the white Irish version, I suppose. But she's just not likable. She's got the Hillary Clinton gene. And Tom Steyer, he's the guy that scares the crap out of me, because he's got $25,000 in his right pocket right now and $25,000 in his left pocket. He prints his own money. He can spend whatever he spent $110 million thus far. Tom Steyer. The entire field, including the other 7 Democrats and the 2 Republicans, haven't spent $110 million. But Tom Steyer has. And what has it gotten him? 10% of the vote. 10% of the vote for $110 million. So I'm telling you, 25, maybe 30% wins, or at least it gets you into the general. And, I was saying, I think there's a 30-70 chance, 30% that it happens, 70 that it doesn't, that Hilton and Bianco can get into the final 2. That was with Swalwell in the race. Without Swalwell, I think that gets down about 10%. I think it's a really slim chance that Bianco holds on. I don't think, and Donna Youngblood's not going to like this, Angela Barton's not going to like this, but I don't see Bianco overcoming Steve Hilton at this point. The issue for Bianco is, can he stave off Steyer and Porter and assure us a Republican governor? And it'd be such a fascinating race if it were Hilton Bianco, because as I've chronicled and as I think most of you know, they can't stand each other. Can't stand each other. They really hit the divide when Hilton started hitting Bianco over a very famous video of him taking a knee with some BLM folks, which of course doesn't sit well with most Republicans. And Bianco has poo-pooed it and said it's taken out of context, et cetera, and hit Hilton back. It's unfortunate that we have 2 really good Republicans in this race, and they're at each other's throat when they should be supporting each other and running on a ticket that's almost together, where they're saying, one should say, if you're not going to vote for me, vote for Steve Hilton. If you're not going to vote for me, vote for Chad Bianco. Get us both in the general, and let's assure the Republican Party gets a Republican governor. But instead, they can't stand each other, and they're tearing each other apart. And now that Swalwell is out, that 10, 12%'s got to go somewhere. And I think it's going to go to Katie Porter or Tom Steyer or both. And that gets them back up into the echelon with Hilton and Bianco. And, a Republican against a Democrat in a general election is a big ask. It's a big ask to have Steve Hilton and Chad Bianco take out whoever the Democrat is, just based on pure numbers. Pure numbers. What else you got?
Rory won the Masters because he was able to beat the Amen corner.
Well, yeah, it's shot on 12 won the tournament for him. But Rory won the tournament because he was extremely lucky. As Nick Ragone pointed out, as we talked about at the top of the show, he played the back, I think 1 under, which, isn't bad. He crapped the bed on 6, double bogey to par 3, which pros just don't do. And like he said, he scrambled. He had a horrible shot on 16, and he was kind of where Tiger was and hit kind of a tiger shot, but he putted it. Where on 16, the pin is if you're looking straight, the pin is left, low left, but the green slants toward the pin. So you can't go right at it. You've got to flail it out to the right and let it slowly roll back. Well, he flew it where Tiger put it, where Tiger chipped up, remember, far to the left of the pin, and it came rolling back down, slowly rolling, and it got to the edge of the cup, and it showed the Nike logo, and it waited, and then it fell in. One of the most dramatic moments of the Masters. Well, he was in the same spot, but he putted it and got up and down, because I thought for sure when he hit it long, I was like, there's a bogey. We got a playoff, because that's a bogey. But he got up and down, and then he hit the worst tee shot of any player in the field. He only hit 31 fairways the whole damn tournament. He really did not play that well. And like I said, he hit the drive so bad that he escaped the woods. You know what I'm saying? So imagine there's a lane of fairway, and then there's a lane of trees, and there's a lane of trees. Well, if you hit it so badly, and believe me, I've done this, where you hit it so badly, you get past the trees, you're damn near on the other fairway. And that's what happened to Mallory. He had a shot. If that ball is in the middle of a bush, so that's one, you pick up, you're dropping, two, he's hitting three, and he would have been in the midst of the woods, so we'd have to chip out. Now he's hitting 4 on, and now he's got a 1 putt to win, which, unless he hits that chip tight, he doesn't do, and he makes double, and we got a playoff. And Scotty Scheffler beats him in the playoff. But he hit it so badly that he had a shot, he put it in the bunker, and, needing 6, he didn't have to get up and down out of the bunker, which he didn't do. He 2-putted, made 5, and won the golf tournament. But he is the worst great player in golf, because you can't say he's not a great player. You can't say that the guy went back-to-back at the Masters isn't a great player. You can't say that the guy has the Grand Slam for a career and he's not a great player. You can't say the guy has 6 major championships. He's not a great player. That's why I compare him to Eli Manning. I don't think Eli Manning was a great quarterback, but you can't say that he's not a great quarterback because he's done things that other quarterbacks have never done, and that's win 2 Super Bowls. In fact, other than Brady, let's name the quarterbacks, other than Brady and Montana, let's name some quarterbacks who have 2 Super Bowls. Peyton Manning. Who else? Eli.
Pittsburgh.
Terry Bradshaw's got 4.
Yeah, Bradshaw.
You're right. But, we could count on 2 hands, and I bet we don't get past 10 that have 2 or more. Joe Namath only has 1. Some of the greatest quarterbacks that ever lived. This is a good question. Let's go look that up before we go to break. How many quarterbacks have 2 or more? Jim Plunkett.
13.
Jim Plunkett. Jim Plunkett should be in this. Who you got?
Tom Brady, Joe Montana, Terry Bradshaw, Troy Aikman.
Oh, I forgot about Ake. He's got, 3?
Yep. Patrick Mahomes.
Let's listen to the echelon of players we're talking about. Keep going.
Eli and Peyton, Ben Roethlisberger, John Elway, Jim Plunkett, Roger Staubach, Bobby Grease, and Bart Starr.
And everybody, but I think Bob Greasy and Plunkett, everyone he names is in the Hall of Fame. Everyone he named, other than Plunkett. And I think, let's find out. Hey, Siri, I think Bob Greasy is in. Is Bob Greasy in the Hall of Fame?
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Is former Miami Dolphin quarterback Bob Greasy in the Hall of Fame?
Yes, Bob Greasy was.
So the only player with multiple Super Bowl wins that's not in the Hall of Fame is Eli, who's getting in someday, and Jim Plunkett, who probably never get in. And that is a travesty, because this guy, if you're too young, Chris, or your generation to remember Jim Plunkett, he was the number 1 pick out of Stanford. He and Randy Vataha lit it up in Palo Alto. Then they somehow got on the New England Patriots and lit it up there, but the Patriots sucked, and it ruined his career. And then he became a vagabond. And back in the day, Al loved vagabonds, brought him on. Dan Pastorini got injured, broke his leg, And the rest was history. He won us 2 Super Bowls in 81 and 84. And he's not in the damn Hall of Fame. And it's just an absolute travesty. Absolute travesty. But that's who I compare Rory McIlroy to. Because you can't say he's not a great player. But if you watched him play yesterday, you would not say that's a great play. And he's stupid. All he had to do, he could have hit 5 wood off the tee and made 5. But no, he's got to hit the big dog. And he hits it the only place he couldn't hit it. But he hit it so badly, he got a break. He got lucky. Let's go ahead and take our final break. Oh, the day. Tomorrow's a Friday. That's right, I said it. Friday. Because Wednesday is Saturday, Jack. Big Dog has chimed in. Takeoff is at 12:30. So I got plenty of time. What time did I say I was getting my taxes done?
He's at 10.
10?
You want to double check that, though?
Yeah. Marquez and Marquez, 18th and Oak. John is such a hard-working cat. You know, he was working this weekend. And the only reason you say, why didn't you go to him this weekend, Ralph? Because I have yet to print out my W-2, which you got to show me how to do. Which is terrible. I don't even know how to get on our computer. Well, I can do it. I can do it. I can figure it out. And then I'm going to pay the damn government on the drive home from Dodger Stadium. I'm going to sneak it in right before midnight. Sons of bitches. Like, they need my money. You know what I'm saying? Ugh. And everybody, all my friends are like, oh, my refund this year is going to be so much bigger. Yeah, whatever. Quick timeout. Wrapping this thing up. Keep it locked. Scott Jennings at the top of the hour. Tomorrow's a Tuesday. We're efforting Clayton Campbell. In fact, I'm going to text him right after this break to fill in for Teresa Golder, who'll be out of studio OOS for the next 3 weeks. She is in Hong Kong, Japan, Beijing. Living the life, Jack. In the meantime, you're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show on Newstalk 96.1 and AM 1230 and streaming live at kernradio.com.
Kern Radio.
Hey, we got Luigi's right here.
Who?
Luigi's.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Remember Lisa told us that Friday?
I forgot. God dang, I don't have anything.
Program, all we got water issues, and who better to discuss them with than the best in the business? Lois Henry, sjvwater.org. We'll also have news and traffic and weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at News Talk 96.1 and also AM 1230 and streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230. KERN.
The Valprado family are back with us. Luigi's Restaurant and Old World Delicatessen. And what in the Sam Hill can I tell you about Luigi's that you don't know? The Warehouse has been an absolute game changer. I'd be willing to bet that 90% of my audience has been to some event in the Warehouse. It is just the perfect venue for parties or special events or whatever's going on. And again, what can I tell you about the restaurant that you don't know? I mean, my favorites personally, Thursdays. The salmon, that candy-coated salmon is just unbelievable. They've added so many different new dishes to the restaurant. It is absolutely incredible. And of course, it's an absolute fashion show on the weekends. Where would you rather be? It's the place to be on a Friday or a Saturday afternoon. And again, if you're having any kind of party, it's a great venue in the Warehouse. Where would you rather be? In the capable hands of Gino Valprado's incredible staff at Luigi's Restaurant and Old World Delicatessen.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near.
Whenever you're ready.
You ready? 3, 2. You know, a lot of people think that Swalwell getting out of this race is a good thing. I think it destroys our hopes, or at least mine, that 2 Republicans could be atop of the leaderboard come the general election, because his 12% is going to go somewhere, and it's most likely going to Katie Porter and Tom Steyer. But one of those 2 Republicans, Hilton and Bianca, will be there in the general election. 3, 2. It's that man again. Look what's coming up on the Tuesday TRBS. Well, we're efforting to get Clayton Campbell in here to substitute for Teresa Golden, who will be gone for the next 3 weeks. And plus, it's Jackie Robinson week. I've got some great audio of Al Campanis, what ruined his career, and we'll tell you about the life and times of Jack Roosevelt Robinson. All that plus me at 3. It's TRBS, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. I'll see you at 3.
Hospital, they provide high-quality medical detox, psychiatric services, and medical and surgical care. They accept most insurances, including Medi-Cal, Medicare, and Kern Family. They offer Kern County's longest-standing inpatient detox program with dual diagnosis that combines medical care and withdrawal management all under one roof. Learn more at GoodSamaritanHospital.com or call 661-215-7500. Good Samaritan Hospital. They care for their community.
We've all been there. Sleepless nights, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy knowing we're here for you. BayAlarm.com.
Clay Travis and Buck Sexton, live at 9 a.m.
Who's she talking about?
Oh, this one. It's
There are 3 nominees that I've heard over the decades: Warren Beatty, her ex-husband James Taylor, or Mick Jagger. Those are the 3 names I have heard over the decades. Anybody else want to chime in? You heard anything?
I've heard a couple things, but mostly just satire shows making fun of this, so I never really knew if they were true or not.
Have you ever heard those 3 names?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mick Jagger is usually the big one.
Yeah.
But
Warren Beatty.
Warren Beatty's
and her
another,
ex-husband James Taylor.
the ex-husband one I haven't heard that much.
Yeah.
But what I can honestly see that being the case.
Is she an attractive woman? She's got a weird face.
Yeah.
She's got, but she's attractive. See, I find I'm attracted to people based on like their personality and how they carry themselves. You know what I mean? Because physically, what is her name again?
Oh, I just deleted this.
Carol. What's her? I forgot her name.
I'm sorry. Hold on. It's
Hey
loading up
Siri,
right now.
who was James Taylor's first wife?
Carly Simon.
Carly Simon. God, you see how old I am? All that THC and my cobwebs. I couldn't come up with Carly Simon. Really? But yeah, she looks like an Airedale. She's got like the pointed face and the current, but she carries herself extremely well. That goes a long way with me. Call me crazy. Call me crazy. 842-5376. Let's wrap it up. What do you got? Let's get out of here.
Trump keeps saying that Iran doesn't have the cards. Oh, but they do. They have a straight. They beat the Trump card all day.
Well, not with a blockade going on and not with them losing $275 million a day, $13 billion a month. We put a little crimp in their budget, shall we say. I think this is the smartest thing they have done inside of Epic Fury, but I totally poo-poo Kathy's buy-in. That's the only thing I can call it, buying into the rhetoric that this was planned. There has been absolutely very little about this operation, in my opinion, that has been planned and thought out beyond just the destruction of a country the size a little bit bigger than Texas. So God help us if we can't dominate a country the size of Texas. God help the United States of America and its future. So let's don't be running around patting ourselves on the back that we're dominating a country the size of Texas, first of all. Second of all, there's no way they had this mapped out with the president saying, go get your own oil, that we don't need the Strait of Hormuz. He said that again this morning. It's a smart play. Don't get me wrong. I like what they're doing. And I think this will force the Iranians back to the table. But this ceasefire was the worst thing that could have happened because they're rearming right now. They're getting drones from Vladimir, maybe even from China. They're making drones for $20,000 a shot. And that could take out an oil tanker. That could take out one of those two destroyers that are inside the Persian Gulf, that are inside the Strait. We'll see what happens. I want to thank Kathy Abernathy, Nick Ragone. Tomorrow's a Tuesday. I have no idea what we're doing. But for Chris Burnick, I'm Ralph Bailey. That's what's really going on. I will rap to you tomorrow.
Kern Radio, AM 1230, KERN, 96.1 FM, K241CI Bakersfield, an American General Media station.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. President Trump says the U.S. enforced blockade of Iranian ports in the Strait of Hormuz is working.
They're doing no business. I didn't like seeing boats come out if they were doing business with Iran, but if they weren't, no boats came out. So now Iran is doing absolutely no business, and we're going to keep it that way very easily.
The president also stressed Iran cannot be allowed to block shipping traffic in the Strait of Hormuz.
We can't let a country blackmail or extort the world, because that's what they're doing. They're really blackmailing the world. We're not going to let that happen.
Iran responded with threats on all ports in the Persian Gulf and the Gulf of Oman, taking aim at U.S. allied countries. President Trump's $10 billion defamation lawsuit against the Wall Street Journal has been dismissed by a federal judge. White House correspondent Greg Clugston reports.
The president filed the lawsuit last summer against the newspaper and owner Rupert Murdoch over a story connecting him to Jeffrey Epstein. The article described a sexually suggestive letter that the newspaper said bore Donald Trump's signature. In turning away the lawsuit, U.S. District Judge Darren Gales in Florida wrote that the president had failed to make the argument that the article was published with the intent to be malicious, but gave him a chance to file an amended complaint. Greg Clugston, Washington.
2 congressmen accused of sexual improprieties are on their way